Welcome into episode number 5 of the Full Court Trap. I'm Splash. He's Jake. I got the direction right. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing great. Been a fun couple days, the All-Star weekend, and kind of stunk to not have basketball in the past few nights, but it's been cool seeing the All-Star festivities. So yeah,
Absolutely. And speaking of All-Star festivities,
yes,
we started off with a bang. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Team Cavs, Garland, Mobley, Jared Allen won the skills contest. They beat the Rooks. What was it? Giddy, Cade, and Scotty Barnes.
yeah,
Big dubs for the city of Cleveland.
Yeah, and Cade hit that half quarter in 9 seconds. I was like, it's gonna be hard for the Cavs to match that. And Mobley just hit the half quarter. It was exciting.
Bang!
And
there
then
we
between
go.
that, and also last night, Team Barry won. Team Barry won the what was it? The Rising Stars Challenge.
Rising Stars.
It was really cool. I actually really loved the way that they did that. I was not expecting to be that invested in the Rising Stars Challenge. Like there was that really fun one in like 2013 when Deion Waiters and Tim Hardaway are going back and forth, and there was that one, obviously when Kyrie Irving crossed up Brandon Knight. But overall,
and that John Wall, Blake Griffin year.
Yeah.
Oh
like those are more fun than the All-Star games for me.
Yeah.
But
like I still have memories of Wall just slamming the ball into the crowd. Blake slam. That was the best. I think that was the year the freshman, the rookies won for the first time, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So
I like the way they're doing it now, though.
Yeah, I agree. I like the playing to 50 and then playing to 25 with the finals. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So I think good rule change there. Of course, the 3-point contest is coming up. It might have started already. Slam dunk coming up next. Final event of the night. And then the All-Star game, the big kahuna tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 4 Alaskan. If you're in Alaska and you watch our show, drop a like, drop a comment, say I'm from Alaska. I don't know if I've ever met anyone from Alaska. So have you?
Awesome. Yeah, anyone from Alaska, shout out to you. Shout out to whoever's watching this video.
Yeah, honestly, for real. So we have a special episode today. It's All-Star Weekend around the NBA, around the association. Every team's off besides the players playing in these events, right?
Yep.
And we have a special. Jake brought me this idea, and he said, "Hey, let's do like a heat check, temperature check." Of course, Sonny does the temperature check every week. How's it going around the association? And I'm like, well, I would love to do that for baseball, but baseball is probably not coming back anytime soon. So
we had a conversation about that before.
Yeah, let's go around the association. I made this beautiful slideshow.
Yes.
So let's start.
We love it.
With the Orlando Magic.
Yes, let's do it. So I think in basketball, there's one place that's terrible to be, and that's mediocrity. And the past few years before this, before like the second half of last year, the Magic were stuck in that, and then they traded Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic, and they went into a full rebuild. And I like what they're doing with it. I think Cole Anthony is an amazing basketball player. I really like what he does. Forgive me, I forget which Wagner it is, but
France,
the one that's the rookie is really, really good. He's awesome. You got Markelle Fultz, who was playing well last year before he tore his ACL out until God knows when, because he's been out for a while. And then Jonathan Isaac's been out for over a year now, I think. So they got some talent there, and like I said, the worst place to be is mediocrity. So if you're a Magic fan, they got a future ahead of them, and that's the important thing. There's some teams we're going to talk about later who might not be the first team talked about, but they're in a worse position than you guys.
Right.
So.
Right. I do want to throw it out there that both Wagners actually play for the Magic.
Yes, that's why I was confused.
Franz is like the good one. Cole Anthony's pouring in 17.5 a game, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Great numbers for him. Wagner, 15.5 a game. Wendell Carter, 14 a game. Gary Harris, even 11.5. Jalen Suggs, the rookie, 12.5.
Yeah, I like Suggs a lot. Gary Harris is interesting because I think they really should buy him out. And he's somebody who I'd love for our Cavs to go after.
Sure.
If we do, he's a Cleveland guy. So, yeah, that'd be cool. But what are your thoughts on the Magic?
Yeah, I think it's, as you mentioned, the worst place to be in the NBA or any league, honestly, is mediocrity. So when you can just suck and get a high draft pick, that is sometimes the best thing for a franchise. It is probably the best thing for the Magic. Retool, get some young players. You added Suggs this year. Add more young players, and then you can, like what the Cavs did. You suck for a couple years, and then you get a Garland and a Sexton and a Mobley, and you make some smart trades, and you get an Allen, and all of a sudden you're actually pretty good. We're not like the 10th best team in the East, right? And stuck in like mediocrity, like the Pacers were in for a while, or the
still are.
Bulls were in for a while. Yeah, the Pacers are still in that mediocrity, or even the Spurs. It's like just every year you're gonna, if you get lucky and you make a nice run, then maybe you make the playoffs. But most of the time you're going to be in the play-in games or just outside of the play-in games, and that's the worst place to be in.
Yeah.
So I think the Magic are, in a way, going in the right direction despite being the first team we show here. So
yes, I completely agree.
All right, let's move on. Staying in the Eastern Conference, we have the Detroit Pistons, 14th in the Eastern Conference, 13-45,
Yes.
a
And
game ahead of the Magic.
Yes, this is a very interesting team because the Magic, like, they're as bad as their record says. Like, the Magic, even though I do like their young talent, they're just not there yet to the point where they're a competitive NBA team most nights. But the Pistons have a lot of nights where they're a pretty competitive basketball team. Cade Cunningham showed himself to be a beast the past few months. Who you got? You got Sadiq Bey, I really like. You got Jeremy Grant, who I think it's a good sign for them that he showed they wanted to be there. Isaiah Stewart, I believe, still in his second season. I like the Marvin Bagley trade. Killian Hayes has potential. So I think they got a lot of guys, man. And I think that this rebuild is gonna be a lot shorter than like a Magic rebuild. Like I could see the Pistons being a pretty good team in a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, if Cade hits, that changes everything because he's your top pick for a reason, and he's
Yeah.
like a superstar potential guy. And when you get them, they come around every couple draft classes. When you get that guy and you hit on him, look at Anthony Davis, look at LeBron, look at Durant. Technically, he's the number 2 pick, but Durant falls into that category.
Yeah.
When you hit on the number 1 pick, or when you hit on a talent like that, it changes quickly. So this Pistons team, Grant's pouring in 19 a game, Sadiq Bey 16 a game, Cunningham 16 a game, Hamidou Diallo 11 a game, Frank Jackson 11 a game. He's hurt right now.
Well, Frank Jackson I like a lot too. He went off against the Cavs that game when they beat us.
And this is a Pistons team that just dispatched a really hot Celtics team. We'll talk about the Celtics in a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think the Pistons are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I think they are too. And even though I'm a Cavs fan, we're in the same division, whatever that means in basketball. Detroit's a really fun sports town. They got really loyal fans. In any sport, really, I'd like to see them be good. So I hope the rebuild goes really well for them, and I think it will. So
sadly, I don't have any Red Wings stuff on me right now. But
oh yeah, I forgot you're a Red Wings fan.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And they're not hot trash for once. So speaking of hot trash, we continue with the Houston Rockets. They have already there was a take on U Stadium. By the way, while we're on the Rockets, if you're interested, we are running a promo on U Stadium. If you make a take about All-Star Weekend, whether it's one of the things tonight or tomorrow, the game itself, I made a LeBron's going to win MVP take. If you make a take, U Stadium will match your points up to 1,000 points. So let's say you want to, I don't know, say Obi Toppin wins the dunk contest. That's your take. And you put 700 points on it. I will send you 700 points to reimburse you, to refund your take. If you're interested, go ahead, make a take. After the show, I will reimburse your points. Make U Stadium takes. Hashtag make your take.
Yeah. And
so one person.
I'd love to. Shout out to U Stadium. Definitely make those takes. I definitely gotta make an all-star take for sure tomorrow about the game because it's a lot of interesting, a lot of new blood in the all-star game this year, which is
absolutely
really cool.
It's like what, 7 or 8 new guys, right?
And I felt like
tons of new guys.
I mean, I think all of us, especially when our favorite players growing up retire, we're gonna miss that 2010s era. But it's nice to know that the league's in good hands going forward. So
yeah, it is not moving forward in Houston. It's been a disaster. They were like competent for a little while, and then it just
had a 5 or 6 year winning streak.
It just went off the rails. I remember Jay-Z 2016 Cubs. He made a take that said the Rockets would finish with the winning record back when they were like 6-5 or something like that, and they lost like 20 in a row.
Yeah, no, they started off really bad. They were like 1-15, but then they won like 6 in a row, and they were like
Mhm.
7-15. It was looking like it was in the right direction for them. And then, I mean, you got a lot of just weird stuff with this team. Like, I don't know,
Mhm.
Eric Gordon's having a great season. I don't know how you let him stay with your team past the trade deadline when you're in a full rebuild.
Right.
33 years old, I believe. I can't see his stats right now, but he was dropping like 14 on 50% from the field, 45% from three.
Mhm.
Jalen Green's rookie year has been a disaster, but
Yep.
he does have the potential to get there as a player. Right now, a lot of times out there, he looks like the shooting guard version of Andre Drummond, where he has all the talent in the world to do what he does very well, but the basketball IQ isn't there. But he is only, what is he, 20 years old? So,
Yep.
he's got his opportunity.
Yeah,
Kevin Porter Jr., yeah.
he turned 20 10 days ago.
Okay, so yeah, so he's still, very young.
Wow, he's younger than
Uh,
us.
yes, it's crazy.
No.
Kevin Porter Jr., he's
My guy, Kevin Porter Jr.
yes, Splash the much bigger Kevin Porter Jr. fan than I am. Seen a lot of flashes from him. A lot of very turnover prone player. Not the most sure about his defense, but when he's in his zone offensively, he's a baller. And if he can get
Mhm.
to the point where that's more consistent, never know.
Yeah.
John Wall needs to get off that roster, no matter which way possible.
Yes, he does. So this is a team 8-15, 8-16 start.
Mhm.
Okay, we're
Oh,
and then they go 7-27 in their next
yeah.
35.
A
That's a
couple of guys
disaster.
A few
So,
guys on our team I do really like though. I like Sengun a lot. I think he's shown a lot of promise. Jayshawn Tate's awesome. And what was the other one? Armani Brooks. He's shown some stuff too. So the team they have pieces, but right now it
mhm,
feels like it doesn't even feel like it's hit the start of the real rebuild yet.
right.
You know what I
It's
mean?
kind of like the 2017 Browns almost, that they added Miles Garrett and you added some pieces, but you still suck. Right.
Yeah.
So I think certainly there. Christian Wood, 17 and a half, 10 rebounds a game. Jalen Green shooting below 40%, 31% from three. That's a disaster. Our friend Kevin Porter shooting under 40% as well. So rough year for the Rockets. Last place in the West right now.
Yep.
Moving back to the East, we have the Indiana Pacers, another team in the Central Division, one of our
Yes.
rivals. They've
I
only
gotta
won a
say
third of their
though.
games.
Gotta say though, they're going in the exact right direction. I mean, the Halliburton trade. I was saying this the other day. This might be a hot take. I think it could go down as bad as the DeAndre Hopkins trade in football,
Mhm.
where I think Halliburton could potentially be a top 5 point guard in a few years. And Sabonis is a good player. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people taking my takes on this as Sabonis slander. It's not Sabonis slander, but
Right.
Sabonis has never shown himself as a guy to be enough of like a guy who moves the needle enough to bring a team to a championship or anything like that,
Right.
and that's not fair to expect. I don't think this trade made any sense for the Kings, but if you're the Pacers, you trade a guy who's 25, which isn't old, but for a 20-year-old who's probably already a top 15 point guard in basketball, and Buddy Hield, who's a decent trade asset. Um, you only had to give up what Jeremy Lamb and Sabonis. Sabonis again a good player, but I think the Pacers are going the exact right direction. You got Miles Turner. It's gonna be so fun seeing what he does with Halliburton.
Mhm.
Um, they got Chris Duarte, I think is
Yeah.
how you pronounce it. He's awesome. He's a little bit older for a rookie. He's like 24, 25, but him and Halliburton in the backcourt is gonna be so fun for years. I really like what the Pacers have done.
Yeah, and they're already off to a hot start. Halliburton, 4 games, 21 points per game. Healed in 4 games, 20 points per game as well. The leading scorer before they got there, Sabonis, 19 a game. He's out. Levert is out. He's on the Cavs, of course. Both of them were at 19 points a game ish. And Halliburton and Healed come in, hit that scoring criteria. Halliburton's averaging 11 assists per game with the Pacers. You good, Jake?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. That happened. All right. Uh, let's move swiftly on. We have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Speaking of rebuilds, no team is more entrenched in a rebuild, I'd say, than the Oklahoma City Thunder. But they have a guy. His name is Josh Giddey. He was just in the skills challenge just a few minutes ago. He is really the new age Russell Westbrook with this whole triple double accumulation. It feels like every 5 minutes the kid's getting a triple double. So
Yes.
wow. And that's insane. They had a cold start to the season. They've been winning a little bit more recently. They did lose their most recent game before the All-Star break, but this is a fun team. Even without Shea, this is a fun team. Josh Giddey's just been pouring it on recently.
Yeah, and I think when you get Shea back there, it's gonna be crazy to see what him and Giddey do with how much Giddey's improved recently. Yeah, Dort, great basketball player. Yeah, they got a lot of talent up and down the board, so it's gonna be exciting to see what they do.
Yeah, Shea was pouring in about 23 a game. Lou Dort, 17 a night. Giddey is 12 and a half, 7.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, throwing 1.5 stocks, steals plus blocks. I2 Blake, the Hood loves Halliburton. They're going to be back to a consistent playoff team in a year or two. Like it, Jake?
I do. I think, yeah, I was telling Blake this on the we were talking the other day. Sorry, my voice is messed up right now.
You're good.
But Halliburton's like one of my favorite players in basketball, so I'm really excited to see what the Pacers do with him.
For sure. All right, let's keep it rolling with Halliburton's former team, the Sacramento Kings, the team with the longest playoff drought in the NBA. Haven't been in the playoffs as long as I've watched basketball. I've watched my first season was the 06 playoffs. The Kings were in the 06 playoffs, but my first full season 06-07. Since then, no playoffs for the Kings. 22-38, sitting 13th in the West, coming in off of back-to-back losses heading into the All-Star break. What's the pulse with the Kings? Do they have a pulse?
They showed recently why they're the Kings with that with the trade they made. We talked about a lot on this channel, but I think that's gonna be a trade they really regret. Yeah, a lot of their fans regret it now. They're gonna regret it more in the future.
For sure.
I mean, Darren Fox has a lot of potential. Yeah, Sabonis obviously is gonna be a good player for a long time, but I like Davion Mitchell a lot, but it's hard to imagine them really going the right direction, making trades like the Halliburton trade.
Yeah, it's really a disaster, and you don't want to be mediocre in the NBA for very long. The Kings just made a mediocre. They want to be mediocre with the Sabonis trade. He's been fine since he came over, 17 a game, 5.5 assists, 11.5 rebounds, 57% from the field. Like, that's fine. But Gonzalo in the chat, I'd rather watch Schindler's List than watch a Kings game after that trade. In fairness, Schindler's List is a great film, but it's bordering on disaster in Sacramento. I
do like what him and Fox could do in the pick and roll, but
fun team for me to play with. Fun team for me to play with in 2K. Not a fun team to watch in real life. Let's move on to a team that's slightly more fun to watch, and that would be the New Orleans Pelicans. Although perhaps the most exciting player in basketball has yet to step on the floor this year. That's Zion Williamson.
And they just announced that he might have to have more ankle surgery, which sucks.
That's awful.
So I really like the McCollum trade, though. I think that McCollum and Ingram is going to be really fun to watch. I didn't like them getting rid of Josh Hart, but, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, so, CJ is it's like Lehigh CJ. He's averaging 28 a game in 5 games. He's shooting 51% from the field, 42% from 3. It's like, where was this in Portland? I'm sure Damian Lillard is just like punching his wall. I guess he can't be punching his wall. He's hurt right now, but he has to be frustrated. Ingram's pouring in 22 a night, and I believe he's an all-star, yes?
Okay. No, wait.
No.
I don't think so, but he's been very, very good.
That's a bummer. He's a former all-star, though. I'm not way off base. Yeah, he was an all-star his first year with the Pelicans. Okay.
Jonas is having a great 3-point shooting year, too. Shout out to Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah. He's pouring in, 12 a night, 14 a night? 18 a night. Holy crap. Okay. I didn't realize that. 18 and 11 and a half. Wow. Okay.
He's having a great year.
Great stuff, Jonas. Okay. I was not expecting to see that. So good job. All right, let's move on.
No, he went off against the Cavs in those 2 games.
Yes. I mentioned them earlier, name dropped them, mediocrity themselves, the San Antonio Spurs. Sitting 13 games below 500. They did beat Oklahoma City. They've won 3 of their last 4 heading into the All-Star break, but they got clapped by the Cavs.
Yes.
Cavs.
It was Karis LeVert's debut also.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Murray. Not
All-Star
really too
Murray.
much outside of that. All-star DeJounte Murray.
Yes.
They have that center who think of it on the fly, so I can't remember his name off top. Let me just.
Pirtle.
Yeah, he's young and he's good. So he's good a lot of nights. So he has potential. I like Derek White a lot, but I think the trade was benefited both sides. They got a first round pick for him.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
as far as I remember, Bryn Forbes has been like red hot the last week or
yeah,
two.
yeah, he's nice. So like, I think at a certain point, I don't know if it's this summer, I don't know if it's next summer, they're gonna have to either find another guy to pair with DeJounte or just
Mhm.
move on from him because you're never going to be a bad basketball team with DeJounte Murray there. You're just going to be, mediocre for a while.
And as we've touched on before, being mediocre is the worst thing you can do in the NBA. But
Yes.
Dejounte Murray is far from mediocre. 20 points tonight, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals too, shooting 46% from the field as a guard. Not a great three-point shooter, but hey, it happens. If you have one flaw, sure, whatever.
Yeah. Especially for a guy who had he had injuries early in his career and didn't get to really, prove himself to this level. It's been awesome to see.
For sure, for sure. All right, moving on to a team that is very much disappointed, undershot any and all expectations. That is the New York Knickerbockers. What is going on?
They can't hold the lead. That's what's going on. I mean, there's
It
no
is
there's no
tragic.
real consistent guard play there. It's probably the biggest issue. But I mean, I think everyone on that team besides RJ Barrett should be tradable right now. I really like what they did with that Cam Reddish trade, but
They're
Julius
not
Randle's been
using
playing
him.
better. They don't
Do you know how
use
many? Do you know how many minutes Cam Reddish has played for the Knicks this year?
what, like 50?
It's just over 100. He's averaging 11 and a half minutes per game across 9 games.
And that's the biggest issue with Thibodeau. Tell him that Julius Randle. I'll talk about that in a second, but I think actually that relates. I think Randle's confidence has been really messed up and from being in New York, and also Thibodeau overplays his players so much that they're still recovering from last year in terms of minutes. Like
Yeah,
this
like
guy's playing such
playoffs.
crazy minutes, and it leads to injuries. Like RJ Barrett just got injured at the end of like a 20-point loss the other night at the end of the game for no reason. So I think everyone on that team should be tradable besides RJ Barrett. But I did like the Cam Reddish trade. But
I mean, I'd love it in theory, but you got to play the darn player. It's like I would probably love Emmanuel Quickly, but you're playing him 20 minutes a night. It's like, what
yeah.
are you doing?
Oh, Quickly's one of my favorite players in basketball too. I forgot to shout out him. He's awesome. But at the same time, if they had to make a trade or something, would he be somebody who I'd be like, no, don't trade? No.
Yeah, the Knicks are weird. They were keeping their head above water for a while. Then the losses have started to pool up. They have 3 wins since January 16th.
And they've had like 3 games they've lost since then. They're up by 20.
It's like they blew a 28-point lead to the Nets. Not even a full strength net. Like that, okay, if it's like Durant, Kyrie,
Oh, yeah.
not Harden,
They're
Simmons.
They're up by 27. It's like, okay, that's what you should be doing. They don't have any of their players. And
And then
Seth
it
Curry
all
leads
comes crumbling down.
Yeah. Seth Curry's awesome though. That
Yes.
we'll save that for the next part. But
Yes.
yeah.
The Knicks, double thumbs down.
And I think there's a lot of changes that have to happen here. I think the one real big positive you can take from the season as a Knicks fan is RJ Barrett's shown he's a guy you can build around. But yeah, it's been disappointment all around this year.
Yeah, no bueno for the Knickerbockers. One of the, I guess, rising stars, if you will, of the last month since January 1st is Anthony Simmons. That's the only positive thing I have to say about this Blazers team. It's another team that is mediocre every single season. Yeah, one year they might get lucky and win Game 7 against Denver in Denver and go to the Western Conference Finals and get mollywopped by the Warriors. Not even the healthy Warriors. They were getting curb stomped by like a JV Warriors team, essentially.
Well, it was the Splash Brothers Warriors, except they didn't have the bench they had before.
That's true. That's fair. They were just getting stomped there. You have no shot of winning a title. But
Mm-hmm.
now this year, guess
I-
what? They're 10th. They're likely to make the play-in game. Anthony Simons is Jeremy Lin 2.0, or is like fulfilling the scoring load that a Damian Lillard size hole left.
Yep.
Lillard's out for another couple weeks. It's like, what is going on? And here they
So
are at 10th in the West.
there's some stuff that I like they've done. I like them getting Josh Hart. I think it was time to move on from McCollum, even though he's one of my favorite players in basketball. I think it was just the right timing.
Yep.
Simons, has been one of the most fun stories in basketball. And also I really like the Josh Hart pickup. Josh Hart, I think, is a very underrated basketball player. I think that was a great pickup. But if you're
He's
the
been on
Trailblazers,
fire with the
yeah.
Blazers.
But if you're the Trailblazers and you're saying you're going to rebuild, you have to go all in on the rebuild and trade Dame at this point.
Yep, agree.
You have to go all in. You can't, because I think what they're banking on, because they're saying they're building around Dame, and Dame's what, 31, 32 now?
Yeah, age 31 season.
Like, Dame shouldn't be wanting, he always talks about, not wanting to run from the grind and stuff, but he shouldn't be wanting, 3 seasons of mediocrity before they have a chance again. And if they're banking on free agents coming to play around Dame, I don't know what to tell them.
I don't really want to live in Portland. I mean, with all due respect to Portland and the state of Oregon, if you're banking on people wanting to come to play in Portland, you're banking on them passing up opportunities to go to other places.
Yeah, and
like
also,
Portland's, nothing's wrong with Portland. I'm on Portland's hate list now. It happens. It happens. We're gonna get a Portland Cleveland finals in 4 years. Don't worry about it.
Yes. But I think if you build a team around Anthony Simons and Josh Hart, I guess, but just put the pieces together. Let Simons keep shining for a few years. Have him be the Colin Sexton. While they get a Darius Garland, while they get an Evan Mobley. Obviously those don't come around every year, but
I mean, Simons is only 22. He's only 22. He age 22 season at least. It's not like he's Dame in 31 or McCollum in 30 or even Nurkic is 27, Nance is 29. Like you can figure it out. You have time with Simmons.
Yeah.
Simons. Sorry.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think there's no reason to have this much veterans on a team that, isn't really going anywhere like this, at least at the moment.
Agree. Speaking of mediocrity, let's continue. The Washington Wizards, the Washington Wizards, 11th in the East, just outside of the playoffs at the moment. They are coming in off 2 wins in their last 3. What are we thinking about the Washington Wizards?
I will be seeing them next Saturday. I'm going to my first Cavs home game. Been a fan since I was 9. Finally getting to see a home game, so I'm very excited.
I beat you to that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Wizards are a team with no sense of direction, I feel like. Kyle Kuzma's having a career year. I like the Porzingis trade, but does it lead them towards anything? Probably not. It's funny. I was in a Wizard space, or I was listening in on Wizard space after they blew that 35-point lead to the Clippers, which feels like it should be impossible to blow a 35-point lead. But
yes, it should be.
And their frustration with the team was through the roof. I don't blame them. They've been mediocre for the past, since the Gilbert Arenas days, really.
Yeah, even before that, the Rod Strickland day, I guess they weren't very good with MJ, but
yeah. Those Arenas days, though, at least they had more of a sense of hope, I feel like.
Yeah, they were in the playoffs. They got dunked on by LeBron a couple times.
Yeah, they did have that year when they lost to the Hawks. Paul Pierce made that buzzer beater. It didn't count after they destroyed the Raptors when Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan couldn't play in the playoffs.
Do you remember the quote Paul Pierce had after Game 2 that he said they weren't going back to Canada? That was the best quote. Other than the I called game that he had against the Hawks. Yeah. Oh man, Paul Pierce. Yeah, might not be as good as he thinks he is at basketball, but he is hilarious.
Oh, he's hilarious. He's funny. I think they gotta let Beal go. I don't think Beal will come back. And their fans seem to want Beal out more than anyone, which was kind of surprising me because they defended him for so many years. I think I made it pretty clear on this channel. I'm not a hater or anything, but I'm not the biggest Bradley Beal fan.
Of course, he's out for the year.
Yeah, he's out for the year. I think it's definitely time for them to move on. And they start winning games when he goes out. I'm just saying, but
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
okay.
All
But
right,
yeah,
let's keep it
franchise is gonna be in
rolling.
mediocrity for a little while.
Yep, it happens.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see the Lakers this early. Of course, you sent me a list. I checked. It's like I believe all of these are record matches. If they're not, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But like we all predicted, the Los Angeles Lakers aren't very good at basketball, despite having LeBron James, despite having Anthony Davis, despite
LeBron
having
James and
Russell
a
Westbrook,
career
despite having
scoring.
Carmelo Anthony. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What is going on in Lakerland?
What's going on is they have no shooters. You got Austin Reeves, who's been maybe one of the best second round definitely one of the best second round picks this year. You got LeBron James balling out. You got Anthony Davis getting hurt every other game, and even when he plays, hasn't been very good. And like Gonzalo said, the Westbrook trade, and I think Westbrook's getting a little bit too much blame, because I think it was just it was a match made in hell in terms of fit. I said over the summer, as a Westbrook fan, I think they should get Lowry because Lowry can shoot. He can space out the defense. That's not Westbrook. Westbrook's a guy who needs shooters around him, and they don't have that. And it's unfortunate because it's making Westbrook look like he's completely washed. And obviously, I haven't seen him this year on a different team, so I don't know. But it's hard for me to imagine, he's fallen off that hard in the last 10 months. But yeah, a lot of issues with this Lakers team. I mean, if you want to look at a positive, Malik Monk's been awesome. Frank Vogel, I don't think realizes how awesome he's been, but outside of that, LeBron James has been incredible. But
the GOAT, 29 a game, age 37 season. I don't know how he does it. 29, 8 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 2.5 stocks, shooting 52%, even hitting 35% of his threes. And he's even shooting a halfway decent percentage from the free throw line.
Yeah. And
and they suck. And they're below 500 2/3 of the way through the season.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about just how bad this team would be if they didn't have, LeBron playing at this level, because they haven't had the hardest schedule yet so far, which is why I think there's a decent chance they'll slip to 10 by the time the playoffs go around, especially with AD now out for at least a month.
Right.
Blake said fourth best team in Cali. By the end of the season, it might be that.
Yeah, it might be that. And it's like, oh my Lord. Where would you rank this LeBron season compared to his 19? Holy crap.
You mean, wait, what do you mean?
If you're like ranking LeBron seasons 1 to 19, where would you rank this season for how LeBron's playing?
It's so hard. It's so hard with LeBron seasons. Around 10th, which is great. I mean, he's just been so good, but
it's like a top 50 season ever.
Yeah. But I'm sure LeBron has a few of those. So.
Yeah. I can't 19 seasons.
Yeah. Actually give me UCLA. I mean, Johnny Juzang might do some work on that defense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he might. Imagine if LeBron wins the scoring title at age 37.
It would be awesome to see.
This would be 18 years in a row that he's averaged at least 25 a night.
The funniest thing is I've seen people like try to say, LeBron's just stat padding because he was trying to pass Kareem and stuff. It's like they need all those points. Like they don't have shooters who just put the ball in the hoop. Like they need LeBron to be scoring all these points.
Exactly. And just imagine where they would be if LeBron had any sort of normal aging curve.
Yeah, no, exactly. And this team is like so old too. It's they're pretty much locked in all these guys for next year, and it's hard to imagine it getting any better. The move I wouldn't be shocked, and maybe this is a take that we look back on a few months, are like, wow, I called that, is if LeBron somehow finessed getting De'Aaron Fox out of Sacramento, putting Westbrook and whatever picks they have to trade into that trade.
Hey, they might actually have decent picks this year because they suck.
But they don't have the pick.
That's true. That's a good point. I want to throw it out there that I'm on Basketball Reference. According to win shares, this season is comparable to LeBron in 2015.
It's crazy.
Like win shares per 48. That is unreal. That like age 30, when a tweet was going around that Thank God this guy's 30. He won't be dominating the league much longer.
Shout out to Urkel, I think that was.
Oh my goodness. Maybe the worst take in the history of takes.
Well, it's kind of funny, like, if you think about, like, if Twitter was, like, big, like, 14 years ago, and, like,
Mhm.
it was, like, after, like, 2007 AFC Championship, whatever, before the Patriots lost to the Giants, Patriots are undefeated. It's like, Brady's 30, won't be doing this for so long
Yeah.
again.
Oh man. All right.
Let's see.
That's enough. Way too much
Wait,
time on the Lakers.
there's a few other things that were said. Gonzalez said Westbrook definitely gets too much hate.
Mhm.
It's also what sport. Yeah, and I agree. And I think if you want to take attacks on his season this year, I think it's justified. But the attacks that people are taking on Westbrook's career, which is a Hall of Fame
Mhm.
career, he's had some of the best seasons the last
Yeah,
decade.
he's a deserving top
Like,
75 guy.
yeah, like I think it's wrong to hate the Westbrook guy, but that's what happens when you go to LA. And unfortunately, that wasn't his decision. So
Did
yeah,
you see that Dominique Wilkins took himself #1 overall in a all seven or
did he?
NBA 7? Yeah, he took
That's
himself
hilarious.
yeah,
No,
number
I
one
think Wilkins
overall.
would be awesome in this era, but like, nah,
Ugh.
like
If he
that's crazy.
he didn't really have much of a 3-point shot. He was a deadly mid-range shooter, but of course he's one of the most athletic players ever. So I mean, modern comp would be like was about to say Giannis, but Giannis is a even freakier athlete somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
I'm thinking like uh like I can't even like a cross between Kevin Durant and Gerald Green.
Yeah. It's like his athleticism was so crazy. And I used to use him in 2K all the time just 'cause it was so fun to use. And like
Mhm,
his corner three, like in 2K was pretty good. It's crazy to
mhm.
think like if he had that shot, like if he had that, really,
Yeah.
really good corner three, like he developed a 3-point shot, like that dude could have been
Mhm.
crazy.
And he was awesome in his era too.
In this era, I mean, yeah, in his
Yeah,
era, he was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. This summer we're gonna have to do like who would play the best in this era. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, moving on across the country, the Atlanta Hawks.
Your home state, Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, my hometown Atlanta Hawks. They are
Yeah,
sitting in a play-in spot, 2 games below 500. Ice trade of the game, John Collins. The
though
whole
he's
gang
hurt.
is, huh?
John Collins, though he's hurt right now.
Yes, though he's hurt right now. He might come back the next week or so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's out through the All-Star break. Of course, they traded Mr. Cam
Cam Reddish,
Reddish. I, I
a
don't know.
move I was not a fan of because he was when they had all those guys out with COVID, he was really stepping up and showing his potential.
Mhm. Yeah, so just strange. And then you have Trey. So like you're never out of a game because he can score 45, but you may
That's
be
what
out of a
happened
game
against.
because he allows 45.
Yep, that's what happened against the Cavs that last game before the All-Star break. They were
Yep.
going crazy. I think this is a team that started off very disappointing. I think they're right back, not where they wanted to be before the season, but they're in striking distance now. I
Mhm.
wouldn't be too worried if I was a Hawks fan. I mean, you might not win the championship this year, but they've shown that they're back
Yep.
to being a good basketball team.
Yeah,
So,
they've won 11 out of the my goodness, 11 out of their last 16.
yep,
Think like 2020 Ravens, 2020 Browns. Those teams won 11 out of 16 games.
yeah,
So there's progress there. And of course, with Trey, you're never technically out of a game because he could go for 50, right? Or go for 45, whatever. So are you capped? I think so. But this is not the year to see, oh, you're capped at a 10 seed. No, we saw last year they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and
mhm,
they were a bad matchup with Milwaukee, but if they get a better matchup and maybe a little bit better play from a secondary star, tertiary star, I think the Hawks are a team that if I'm like making an NBA power ranking, any team ahead of the Hawks, I think can win the title. Any team below the Hawks, like I don't give a shot. I think the
yeah,
Hawks have like if you bet on the Hawks preseason, I don't think you're an idiot. Depending
yeah.
on the odds, I don't think
I
you're an
think
idiot.
also the thing with the Hawks too is like with last year's run, like they've shown they're a team with a very high ceiling, very low floor,
Yes.
and they're basically on the path they were last year in terms of play wise. Now, as a Cavs fan, I hope it doesn't go quite as crazy as it went last year,
Yeah.
but
we are the 2021 Hawks,
exactly. But
but
yeah,
even better.
they've got a lot of talent there, and they're not a team I'd want to see in the playoffs as anyone, that's for sure.
Okay, before we move on, what do you think of the green color?
I like it. Looks cool.
Okay, I think so too. I wish they used a little bit more in their logo. Like if the eye was green, kind of like Seahawks flavory, that they have like a little bit of green in their logo. I think if you added a little bit of green, it'd be a nice logo.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid logo as is.
Yeah,
but
I think it looks cool as a background color too. I like it.
yeah, for sure. Moving on, another cool background color. My favorite color, purple.
Yeah,
We have
it
the
looks good.
Charlotte Hornets, the 9 seed, 2 games below 500. LaMelo Ball, he's an all-star. He's in Cleveland for the All-Star week. This team blew a pretty sizable lead against the Heat and lost in double overtime. They shouldn't have lost in double overtime.
They shouldn't have lost. Nope.
Yeah. Some goofy refereeing. We've never seen weird refs before, have we?
Yes,
Against the Hornets.
Kind of felt like a taste of our medicine, but I did end up losing both those games. But I think they've lost, what is it, 8 out of 10 going to the All-Star break or something?
Yeah, they've been ice cold. At one point, they were 6 games above 500.
Yeah.
Since that point, they are 1-9.
Yeah, which is really disappointing. You got Bridges and LaMelo having fantastic seasons. I think Hayward's been
having a solid season too.
Wait, who did you say?
I said Rozier's having a solid season.
Oh yeah, Rozier's been nice. They really need some forward, center play. I think,
Mason Plumlee is not doing it.
Yeah, the pickup of Harrell was a good pickup, but I don't know if it's moving the needle that much for them. I like PJ Washington. I don't feel like he's used completely right. Hayward's been injured, I believe, for a little bit, but they have talent there. They're obviously going to build around LaMelo and Bridges, and for how long they have Hayward for. They've done a good job with the rebuild, but I don't know exactly where it's going to take them. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the next few years, but I wouldn't be surprised if they fell out of the play-in this year. And the Wizards and the Hawks ended up being those 2 teams there.
Yeah, that's fair. I think maybe not this year, like a 2024, 2025. I think the Hornets can be kind of like a Darren Williams Nets team that was like the middle tiers, middle seeds of the East playoffs. Like I think they have a lot of talent, and when you have LaMelo, you have a potential superstar there. So I like what I see. I like what I'm seeing. I think it's going to be growing moving forward. So they're ice cold now. Maybe they can kick something up after the All-Star break. But if they don't, hey, you improve your draft picks. So
yeah,
it's never a loss. Also, did you see James Bouknight got kicked out of the UConn
Yes, that
game
was
today?
hilarious. That was today, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he slid his way back into the student section.
Yeah.
Go Huskies.
And shout out to Scotty Lewis on that team too. I know him from way back. Great guy, and he's a really good defender. Put the ball in the hoop. I really hope he gets his opportunity to go out there and play, because he's got a lot of potential for sure on that bench.
Absolutely. All right, let's moving to number 15. Sorry, the blue is a little hard to read, but we are returning to the City of Angels. We have a team that's a game and a half ahead of the Lakers in the standings, the Los Angeles Clippers.
This is Blake's favorite topic here. Our fellow Cavs fan Blake, he loves the Clippers. This Clippers team, I mean, I'm gonna say it right now. Tyronn Lue for me is the coach of the year. Spoelstra has a very good argument too, but think about this team has like $80 million of cap space dedicated to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's been out the whole year. Paul George's been out for like 2 months. And they're still winning basketball games. And not only that, but a lot of games are down by like 20, 25 points, and they just come back. I mean, you got Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard.
Luke Kennard, I don't know how the 3-point contest went, but he is in the 3-point contest.
He is, and his performance at the end of that Wizards game was probably one of the most exciting moments in basketball this year, when he had the really long 3 to make it a 3-point game. They get a stop, or they got 5 seconds, I believe, and then they get the 4-point play to win it. Coming back from a 35-point deficit, that was really crazy. Norman Powell was a great pickup. Unfortunately, they got
He's
hit
hurt
with the
now.
injury bug right when he got there. He hurts his toe.
Mhm.
Cavs legend Isaiah Hartenstein's been really good off the bench for them.
Is he German, right?
I believe so. Yeah. And
Oh,
two-backs having a nice season. Terrence Mann, I really like Terrence Mann.
he's from Oregon.
Yes.
What the? Wait a minute. They don't give me. Wait. Okay. So is he an international player, but he was born in Oregon? I'm very
Hartenstein?
confused.
Yeah,
Because
Hartenstein was international.
okay, but he was born in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He's a German American player, but he was born in Oregon, but he
That's
didn't
very
play
confusing.
college. Okay, it sent me right back to his best. I want his Wikipedia page. What? Okay, so he's a German American basketball player. He's originally from Oregon, but he's a German national.
Huh.
He moved to Germany in 2008.
Wow.
Okay,
That's
there
actually a
we
really
go.
interesting story.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's
they
pretty
met.
cool.
His parents met when his dad went to the University of Oregon.
Hmm.
Hence Eugene. All right, very cool. Did not know that.
Shout out to Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, shout out to
He was awesome to watch on the Cavs last year as a bench center after Jared Allen. He had some nice games, so happy to see he's getting a really good opportunity there this year. Sure.
someone using my Discover card. Oh, okay. It was like a PlayStation thing. Okay, that makes sense.
Nice.
Okay. Anyway,
So yeah, I think
also,
they've
I guess.
outperformed.
Oh, go ahead.
They've outperformed expectations,
Mhm.
that you ever could have had when their two best players are out like crazy this year. So it's really crazy to think that the Lakers, for most of the season at least, have had their three best players, and they,
They've stunk.
yeah, and they're better than the Lakers. Brandon Boston, yeah, I think Brandon Boston, nice player as well. I could see that.
Okay, that that whole Discover card ordeal got me shook, but let's keep it rolling. This is a
It's
team
a
that's
really
uh,
fun
been
team.
exciting. Been exciting. You have Karl Anthony Towns. You
Yeah,
have Anthony Edwards. They are just 4.5 wins away from their over under. It was 35.5 on the beginning of the season. They're at 31
surprised
now.
he's even that high.
Yeah, they are rocking and rolling. They've stayed away from the injuries for the most part. Exciting team. Everyone's playing. Everyone's playing most nights. Ant, Cat, Russ.
And I
Also,
gotta give a
everyone's
shout
favorite
out.
Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Patrick Beverly. As much as hateable as the guy is, he's been a really solid pickup for them this year. I think he's done a lot for them in terms of experience and bench guard play. You know, you gotta. I like the way like guys like Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Naz Reid, like those are all young guys who have shown some potential this year. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of optimism for sure in Minnesota right now for this team.
Did you know they are one of the 3 teams that Greg Monroe has played for this season?
Yes, and he put up a double-double with them.
Yeah. So, our friend of the show, Greg Monroe.
Yes. That was
All
the night
right.
I texted you. I was like, "Greg Monroe's playing basketball in 2021," or was it 2022 at that point? I don't know.
Yeah, shout out to Greg Monroe, Bucks
Yeah,
legend, Pistons legend, Georgetown
part of
legend.
the greatest, front court of all time with Andre Drummond in Detroit.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right, let's move swiftly on. We have them at 17, or this is in other order, so I guess they're 14. So they're
Yes.
14, but of course we are in the territory of this team could win the title. This team being the Brooklyn Nets, currently the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, but no Durant, no Harden for the moment, and Ben Simmons is
Coming.
still working his way back from injury.
It's like mental I guess
Okay.
mental health.
Okay.
Because actually a very interesting thing he said in his interview, when he sat down with them was that he was going through a lot of stuff before those playoffs, and the 76ers knew about it.
Mhm.
It really need to change the scenery. Sound like he's cool with everyone besides Embiid now, which is good.
Mhm.
Never want to see
Yeah.
a player just absolutely despise his team. When
Right.
he goes back to Philadelphia, it's gonna be a different story, I'm sure, with the fans. But
Boo.
they're saying it could be almost LeBron back to Cleveland level. I don't think people remember just how crazy
Oh,
that was. But
that was you were fearing for LeBron's life.
yes,
Oh man,
but
wasn't that a ESPN telecast too?
it was,
He
and the
did.
Cavs
Oh
were
my
down by like
gosh.
30. I was 9-year-old
Oh,
me
man.
was very upset that night.
Yeah.
I was like, "We're gonna beat LeBron tonight," because the Cavs had like a decent start to that year, like 5-4
Uh-huh.
or whatever, and
Yeah.
I
Was that
came
the year
up
we lost 26 in a row?
26 in a row, and then
Oh,
the game we won, I think JJ Hickson had a block at the buzzer, and then won overtime. It was the game after we swapped Mo Williams for Baron Davis in a first-round pick, which ended up being Kyrie Irving. So
yeah, that was a good trade.
yes, great
Oh,
trade.
man.
But on the topic of the Nets, this is a team I'm not as high on for this year as many other people are. I think the Nets have actually proven it in the last couple of years. You really need time for chemistry to get there, and
Right.
an injury-prone team doesn't exactly just become completely healthy just because the guys come back. And
Mhm.
there's and I really hope they stay healthy because you always want to see great basketball. You never want to see
Yes.
guys get hurt, but it's hard to imagine these guys who can barely play basketball just being able to play, full playoffs at their highest level and,
Right.
just go through and win the finals. I think I'm actually gonna have the bold prediction that this team loses in the first round, but we'll
Are
see.
we
There's a lot
talking
of
play-in, or are they gonna be like the 6th seed and lose to the Bulls or something?
I can very easily see him being playing, but we'll see. It'll
Okay.
either be 6 or 7.
Okay.
I think there's so much talent in the Eastern Conference. I think if you're not all the way in with all your players like the Nets are right now, where guys are hurt, guys aren't able to play all the games, I think it's gonna lead to some issues for them. I could be wrong. They couldn't win a championship, and this is a take we look on as old take exposed later, but I don't know. We'll
Freezing
see.
cold. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I will say that Seth Curry has been phenomenal in his 3 games with Brooklyn, and our
Yes.
friend Andre Drummond has 37 rebounds in 3 games.
Yes.
So we do have a question from Lex. How do you guys feel like Simmons will perform on the Nets now that he has a fresh start in a new environment? Better, worse, equal to the Sixers?
This is interesting because I had a conversation about it might have been with you. It was with somebody like a couple nights ago about confidence in sports and how much, it's important to a player. We're talking about guys like
Right.
Anthony Bennett, Markel Fultz, and how
Like when you
losing
get
their
the
confidence.
yips,
What?
when guys get the yips, like Fultz
Yeah,
couldn't shoot free throws,
yeah.
baseball players can't throw a strike, stuff like that.
Daniel Bard when he went to the starting rotation and then tried to become
Mhm.
a reliever again, didn't
Rick
work.
Ankiel with the Cardinals.
Yeah, and you know, confidence is something in sports that I don't think people realize just how important it is. Like people are like, "Oh, this guy has a big ego." To get to the top of sports, you have to have a big ego. Like you have
Mhm.
to believe you're better than everyone because
Yeah.
only the top 0.1% of players make it. And with somebody like Ben Simmons, maybe he's completely back, maybe he's not, but as a fit, him being in Brooklyn works perfectly. Him being able to be facilitator, have the great players around him. They need
Mhm.
perimeter defense. He doesn't have to be the one taking the big shots in clutch time, but does he have full confidence that he can be the Ben Simmons that we saw a few years ago? Because Ben
Right.
Simmons was a really good basketball player. People
Yeah,
don't
he's
even
a
up
top
until
15, top 20 guy. He's
yeah,
a
so
tremendous playmaker, can finish around the rim. And you think, like, if you're Simmons and you're thinking, okay, my goal today, don't want to shoot a jump shot, don't want to shoot free throws. And that's your number one goal. Okay, you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on the
yes.
basketball floor with you. Okay, no one wants anything to do with Kevin Durant with the basketball in their hands. No one wants anything to do with Kyrie with the ball in their hands. So you're stuck on those guys like glue. You don't want to like rotate off of
Yeah,
Kevin Durant and give like he can knock down a 30-footer blind,
yeah.
but you don't want him shooting a wide open corner jumper. You don't want Kyrie Irving shooting open jumpers. You don't want Seth. You certainly don't want Seth Curry shooting open jumpers. He's shooting 52% from 3 with the Nets. It's like
And
you pick your poison,
that was
and
the
your
thing I was
poison
most
happens to be Ben Simmons finishing at the basket.
yeah. And the thing I was most shocked about with that trade, honestly, was them letting Seth Curry go because he's been a beast for the 76ers this year. And I really
Mhm.
don't think James Harden should be worth that much more than Ben Simmons with the way he's played this year now. Some people will talk about the free throws or whatever. I really don't think James Harden's proven himself to be that great of a player, as great of a player as he's used to be this year.
Mhm. Unless it's against the
So
Cavs with like 2 minutes to go, and then he's just
and then he
foul,
shoots 9
foul,
free throws.
foul, foul.
Yes.
It's like, oh, that was so annoying.
We won,
Let's
but it was
Yeah,
very
we did win. We did grab the dub. Let's
yeah,
keep it rolling. Moving up north, we have the Toronto Raptors, 7
love
games
this
above
team.
500,
Love this
7th in
team.
the East, currently top play-in spot. They are coming in off a W against the Timberwolves, heading into the All-Star break. What do you make of the Toronto Raptors?
I love this team. I think they have some of the most potential in basketball. Van Vliet's like a mini Curry with the way he's able to space the floor. Guys have to pay attention to him. They got guys getting to the hoop. Siakam's been playing some of the best basketball of his career recently. Scotty Barnes is, despite him missing 5 layups in the skills comp or whatever competition it was last night, he's been awesome.
You got me rolling on that one.
They got
Man.
OG Anunoby, some other guys.
Trent S.
Oh yeah, Gary Trent Jr. has been awesome. So yeah, they have a lot of guys. I mean, I've put both Van Vliet and Barnes in my top 10 favorite players currently. I mean, Barnes is just such a good guy, and he'll go out there and ball out. I think him and Mobley will end up being the 2 best players from this draft. And
generational Mobley, but we'll get to the Cavs in a little bit.
We will. I'm trying to think. There's a couple other guys in this team I really like too. Boucher. I like him.
Oregon legend.
Yes. I guess that's it for the guys I like, but they got a lot of talent for sure. I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't think I think they're gonna be the one team in the East this year who I'm not really gonna give a chance of making a run. Assuming I think the top 8 seeds stay, but they're gonna be a very fun team for the future. Very fun team now, and
yeah,
to see what it goes for them.
I cannot believe you did mention Sam Decker. He's played a grand total of 1 minute for them this season.
What a legend!
Or what about David Johnson? He's played 2 minutes for him. Yeah, Texans legend David Johnson. That's our second DeAndre Hopkins trade reference today. That's a new record.
Dude, I didn't know Sam Decker was still in the league.
Yeah, he's played 1 minute for them. Van Vliet's been awesome, deserving guy to go to Cleveland for the All-Star game. Siakam, I'm really happy that he's back playing good basketball.
Yes.
Of course, he had the rough bubble that he couldn't talk to his brother. They lived together, right? So you could just talk all the time. It's almost, I don't want to say therapy, but I don't have a brother, so I can't really relate. But as a family relationship that he was broken because COVID in the bubble. So he lost all of his confidence. Now he's getting that confidence back, and he's shooting 50% from the field, 35% from 3, 22 points per game. And Van Vliet, 40% from the field. Too hot. Whew.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's a lot to be excited about Toronto, and that's a team that can get really hot really quick. And even though I said I don't see them making a run, I can potentially see them making a first round upset because that team, they start off the season they were 1-3. They went on a 5-game winning streak. And recently went on an 8-game winning streak, and then they kind of fell back to earth. But if they hit their stride around playoff time, watch out for them. Not a team that anybody's going to really want to see and think they're a pushover.
Yeah, how many teams have a guy that's received a vote for Finals MVP? Not many. It's the Cavs, as far as I know. The Cavs certainly don't.
Yep.
Fred VanVleet has 1.
Yes. Wait, Siakam didn't get any votes?
No, it was Hubie Brown voted for Fred VanVleet, and everyone else voted for Kawhi.
Yeah, I guess everyone voted for Kawhi. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so congratulations, Fred VanVleet. It's like that Cooper Kupp has more MVP votes than Russell Wilson, as does Bobby Wagner has more MVP votes than Aaron Donald.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right. I have 2. Okay. Behind the scenes, I have a laptop and my Mac, right? So I just clicked the next slide on my laptop, and I'm just waiting for it to load, even though I have to click it on the Mac. So number 19, slide number 19, the Denver Nuggets, number 12 in these. I'm going to call them power rankings. They kind of function as power rankings, whatever. The Denver Nuggets, 6th in the West, coming off of – okay, I have a question for you before we get into the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Is there any player in the history of organized sports better than Nikola Jokic with 3 seconds when he has to pass the basketball?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I was going to say, you might as well call him a Denver Jokic. But I can never figure out if it's Jokic or Jokic, but
I always say Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic. They might as well call him a Denver Jokic at this point because, I mean, you look at that roster. They don't have any Jamal Murray. They don't have any Michael Porter Jr. I like Will Barton's good basketball player. You got Aaron Gordon's a good basketball player.
Monte Morris
had that 3 the other night. Good basketball player, but that team is nothing without him. And he's Yeah, I think actually I'd argue that Jokic this year has had a better year than last year
Mhm.
because last year he had the talent around him for most of the year. He had an historic offensive season, but this year what he's done with basically nobody around him has been extremely, extremely impressive.
Uh,
Not quite as impressive as another center we're gonna get to probably in a few teams, but very, very close. Both historic, center seasons.
First, I love how you made the list and you're asking me when a certain team is coming up. I do want to make a correction. Bryn Forbes is on the Nuggets now, not the Spurs. He's been red hot with the
Yes,
Nuggets. He's no longer a member of the Spurs, so sorry for mentioning him there. Monte Morris, rock solid like the Andre Miller of the modern era, but he can
yes.
shoot threes. As we saw just a couple nights ago,
That shot
switching the
against
game
the
winner.
Warriors was unreal. That pass by Jokic, I mean,
Unreal. Just he
you know,
makes that's like a routine, not even a routine pass. That's like a good pass, and Jokic just makes it
it's funny.
special.
It's funny because, like, if you think about somebody like LeBron, if he made that pass, yeah, because they're both incredible passers, it would
Mhm.
be like he's giving it up in the last few minutes. But like in terms of basketball plays, like that was a great pass,
That's
and
big
Monte
brain.
Morris finished it.
Oh
Yep,
man.
and yeah. So I mean, the Nuggets, I don't really see them going too far unless Murray comes back. We know how
Mhm.
Murray plays for
Yeah, if
playoffs.
Murray
We know
comes back, then if we get bubble Murray,
Yeah, that'd be
oh
amazing.
my,
I mean, he turns into a superstar, man.
yeah,
It's
then
crazy.
we could get a Nuggets Jazz series. Get Mitchell and Murray just boom, 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 boom. That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
I'm just gonna read off Jokic's stats: 26 points per game, 14 rebounds per game, 8 assists per game, 2 stocks per game.
Crazy.
That is MVP caliber. If I've ever seen numbers, those are MVP caliber. But let's move on. Number 11 in these power rankings, if you will, the smoking hot, unless they're playing the Detroit Pistons, the smoking hot um, Boston Celtics. They were at 500 through 50 games. They've rattled off 8 wins or 9 wins from their
On 10
last
games.
10.
Yeah.
It, they've just been magnificent. They were below 500 just 10 games ago.
Yeah. It's
And here they
crazy.
are.
And, they, there's talks about, should they break up, Tatum and Brown. I think even I
Mhm.
mentioned that, and they've proven everyone wrong. They've just been like,
Yeah,
"Nah,
they
we've
have.
got 2 of the best under 25 players in the league. We're gonna show you why," and
Boom.
they've just been amazing recently,
Yeah.
and it's been good to
Tatum's
see, honestly. You wanna see, young talent succeed, and been a lot of, Celtics that ever won. I mean, the analytics love the Celtics. I actually saw something that had, like, the Suns at 28% to make the finals or to win the finals, Celtics at 27%, and,
oh,
like, the Heat at 21%. Like, the analytics love
okay.
the Celtics because of the type of defense they play
Yeah,
now.
they're number 2 in defensive rating.
Yeah, now I
Oof.
don't necessarily I could easily see the Celtics going out first round, but
Mhm.
right now they're on a very hot streak, and Robert Williams, shout out to him, he's been incredible. Um, they still really gotta figure out that, point guard situation there, but,
Sure.
and shout out to their coach, I forget his
I it's
Ivy? Ivy something?
Ime Udoka.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's been, he got a lot of criticism early on, and he's,
Mhm.
over the last 10 games been proving a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
people
right.
wrong,
Because
so
what Stevens is the GM
yeah.
in front office. Yeah, like that.
So,
That took me out of left field when
that
Stevens
was a
stepped down.
shocker because at first I was like, "Damn, they're firing him," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" I
Uh-huh.
was just so shocked, at that whole news, but, they're putting it together, so, yeah, if they made a finals run, I wouldn't be shocked, so
Yeah, I mean, and they ISO Joe played 2 minutes for him, so clearly
went
the
back to where
best
he
team in
started.
basketball. Yeah, Tatum's
Is he
pouring
still
in
on the
25
roster or
and a half.
no?
I have no earthly idea. Tatum 25 a game, Brown almost 24 a game. Marcus Smart's hurt right now, but he's pouring in
Yes.
12 a game.
Is
Derek White coming in out of a trade, 12 a
he was
game.
a great pickup too, Derek White.
Oh,
Great
amen
pick.
to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And we head into the top 10. Kick it
Yes.
off with the Dallas Doncic's.
Yes, and I was actually just talking about them the other day. I forget what their current record, 35 and 24. They
Mhm.
started 15 and 17, so right now they're 20 and 7 over their past 27 games. Uh,
Yes.
Doncic's having probably the best stretch of his career right now. I think he dropped like 50 last week
He
and
had
won that.
49. I made a take that he would get 50, and I lost.
That's rough.
Yep.
But that team, they got Doncic, they got Jalen Brunson. I don't even know who's playing center now. I guess like Kleber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kleber,
Dinwiddie.
Powell.
I'm excited to see how Dinwiddie fits in there. I don't know what they're gonna do about their center situation, but at a certain point, if a guy's playing like Doncic is playing, maybe it
You
won't
can win.
matter.
Yeah, you can win. It's I remember either last year, maybe 2 years ago. I guess it was 2 years ago because I was home. At some point, I DM'd a Atlanta Sports Radio Twitter host while he was talking about the NBA playoffs, and I said, "Watch out for the Mavericks because they have Luka Doncic." That is like, why should you care about the Mavericks? Luka Doncic, and the
And he's
man's going to
incredible.
turn what 22 in like a week,
Yeah,
23 in a week. He is. I have it actually in
he's
my phone.
23. Yeah,
I have I have it in my phone. I have his birthday in my phone.
that's
It's
funny.
He's unreal, and he
Yeah,
gives
and
you a chance to win every single game. There are very few players in NBA history like that. I remember wasn't there an argument that he could be a top 75 player already?
was there? I didn't
I
see that,
think there
but
was. I think there was because like
was not the
Shaq
playoff
made the
success yet, but
but he did
he's
have
gonna
the
get
clutch shot against the Clippers. It's
there.
not for lack of his effort. It's a
No,
lack
it's
of the
not.
team around him.
But you have
Yeah,
to at least get past the first round, I think, before you can start.
that's fair because Shaq did have a finals appearance by 96.
Yeah.
So
But it's gonna be very interesting to see what they do the rest of the way. I don't see them really slowing down.
they've been good
Kicks.
defensively for once.
Yeah, that's the thing that was crazy to me because I gotta admit I was not paying attention to them for a couple weeks when they started really, they were at a point where they were starting to play better. They were at like 24-20 from like 15 and 17. I'm
Mhm.
talking to a Mavericks fan on Twitter, and I was like making a joke about their defense because they said something about the Cavs. And
Mhm.
like said their defensive ratings top 10. I'm like, how'd that
Yeah.
happen? Like when we played them a couple weeks ago, they couldn't stop, like any of our guys. And so
Look, I know you say this, but if Doncic retired right now, is he a basketball Hall of Famer? I think he
yes,
is because of what he did in Spain.
overseas, yeah.
I think there's a reason. I'll pull up his like stuff
But there's
on
more than
Basketball
75.
Reference, but he's like 2-time All NBA already, 3-time All Star already. Was Rookie of the Year. He's 26 a game for his career, 7.5 rebounds, 8.5 assists, or 8.5 rebounds, 7.9 assists, steal or 1 steal, half a block. I think there's a decent enough argument that he is a top 75 player of basketball. If you want to include his overseas stuff for that and change up the list a little bit, sure. But
He's
I
put
guess it is the
amazing
NBA
basketball players
75.
through like 16, 17, right? Like overseas. Like he was like
Yeah.
16 or I think he was even younger, like just like
Yeah.
destroying.
Yeah. He was MVP overseas several times. Like, I don't think I can name 75 better basketball players than Luka Doncic. Maybe 75 better careers, sure. But like he has more All NBA appearances than Chris Bosh
Yeah, it's crazy.
already, and that's granted part of that's because Bosh played in an era with Durant, LeBron,
And you want
Duncan.
to join LeBron and Wade
Yeah,
too.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, is it a perfect argument? No, but I would be Luka's. He's the closest thing from not a top 75 player now to I would not be surprised if he's a top 10 player ever. We can
Yeah.
have that.
No,
We can have that conversation with Luka.
I agree.
It's like
And
Giannis is probably in that conversation. Uh, eventually,
officially a pro
Luka.
13. That's
Wow.
crazy. That's insane.
All right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I think the seasons he's having, like this 3-year run is like a top 73-year run ever, top
Yeah.
53-year run ever. Okay, if you're taking out like, I guess you could just have a field day with Jordan 3-year runs. Okay, I get you. Or Wilt 3-year. Okay, duh. Or LeBron 3-year runs.
But
Thank you, but
the thing
I think
that's
it's fair.
crazy is like Doncic started this year off, and he was a little bit out of shape,
Mhm.
not playing his best basketball, and people were slandering him a ton. And now he's damn near brought himself to like the MVP.
Yeah,
Talk.
he's a top 6 MVP guy.
Yeah,
We can start having MVP conversations
soon,
because
very soon.
yeah, with these teams that hey,
Yeah,
if you're the best player on these teams, you're probably in the MVP race.
I think
Welcome
the
Luca,
close.
welcome Jokic.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about the Mavericks is you went from the best international player we'd ever seen before, before this run of like Giannis and Luca with Dirk, to now the second
Just
best, or right there with the best international player of our. I mean, I wouldn't put Luca ahead of Giannis, definitely not yet, but
yeah.
maybe at some point.
Giannis has had the better career. If you're starting a franchise, would you take Luca over Giannis, or you still take Giannis over Luca?
Oh, that's so tough. I
They're
think I
one
take
and two.
Giannis.
Yes.
I think I take Giannis. Yeah, I think I take
Yeah.
Giannis just because of the defense and
Okay.
offensive punch.
That's
Like,
fair.
yeah, Doncic isn't a bad defender by any means, but he's not, Giannis or what's his name?
No,
Luka's not a bad defender by any means, but he's not Giannis.
he does switch off occasionally. There was a game a couple of weeks ago that he was just whoever offense on Luca. So he
Yeah,
has his moments, but Giannis, like he has a top 5 block in the
defensive.
history of the world. Like,
Yeah, defensive player of the year every year
yeah.
arguments. Yeah,
Oh
like
man,
he's just
we'll
another
touch
one.
on Giannis more in a little bit, but
But yeah, Maverick fans have been blessed with international play for the last 2 decades. That's for sure.
also, where would you rank LeBron if you're starting a team now? Where would you rank LeBron at 37?
Probably like 15th,
Okay,
20th ish, just because you don't.
he's 37.
Yeah, he's 37.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, Kobe wasn't playing quite this well, but it's like before he tore his ACL in 2012, 2013, where you get Kobe and it's like, he's like 33, like.
Yeah, he's like a top 5 player, but moving forward. Oh man. Bilson 209.
We talked about them before. Lots of choking.
Dysfunction.
Also,
Yeah.
shout out, this is my roommate right here.
Nice shout out.
But yeah, they just can't hold a big lead, and a lot of it has to do with guard play. I think a lot of it has to do with a distrust in like players and coaches there. But there's a lot of overhaul that has to be done. I don't think that they're like.
Awful.
I think they're in a better place than they were before last season still, which Knicks fans have to remember. Like, before last season, they were, basically looked at as another like bottom tier team, and they haven't been a good basketball team this year. But I think they have RJ Barrett, Julius Randle starting to play like himself again. I think RJ Barrett's the guy who can build a franchise around. So there's a lot of hope there, but yeah, right now it's bleak for this season for sure.
Yeah, I think of it kind of like if you just flip the orders of the rebuild, then it makes sense. Like if this year replaced last year,
Yeah,
and then last year replaced this year, then it's a natural progression. Boom, boom, boom. Right? It's like the Josh Allen curve. Right? Everything looks good, but as soon as you flip a year and it looks weird, you're like, huh? Why did Lamar have an MVP season then get worse? Why did that happen? Well, because it just broke the normal curve. That's okay. And
well,
we
yeah, you
need a
guys
point
definitely need a
guard.
point guard. Yeah, that's the
Oh
real
man.
issue there. But it was funny. There's this rapper Lloyd Banks, who's one of my favorite rappers ever. He was on Twitter, and he was asking realistically, where do you think the Knicks are? Because he's a Knicks fan. He's a New York rapper. He's like, realistically, where do you think the Knicks are compared to other teams in basketball? And I said they probably overachieved last year and underachieving this year. They're probably a play-in team both years. And he said, so can you really blame the players and coaches that much when they're probably just evening? He basically said they're evening out to the mean this year. Like they
Large
shouldn't have been
enough
as good as they
sample
were
size.
last year. Yeah, they shouldn't have been good as they were last year. They should be better than they are this year, but overall they're probably around where they should be if you take the last couple of years. I thought that was a fair point. I think the only thing that really should frustrate Knicks fans is the blown leads, because they have no
Yes.
business blowing the leads that they are blowing, and that just shows a lack of focus, a lack of trust around. So that's the thing I'd be worried about. And you guys need a point guard like badly. So
Absolutely. All right. So we mentioned him earlier, but it's time for the Giannis conversation. The Bucks coming in at number 9. Giannis is pouring in 29.4 points a game, 11 rebounds a game. He's in the MVP conversation again. The Bucks are contending again. What do you make of the Bucks?
I mean, they're my Eastern Conference pick to make the finals. I think they've. Right now, I think a rematch of last year is very possible. I mean, Giannis is playing incredible. You got Middleton, who I don't think was deserving of an All-Star, but he's playing good basketball. They picked up Serge Ibaka at the trade deadline. which I thought was a pretty good pickup. You got Drew Holiday, who's just the perfect player come playoff time between how he plays defense and how he can operate in offense. Um, they traded. I feel who they got back for DiVincenzo, but I thought that was a good trade considering they showed last year they didn't, because they played without him, they didn't really need him.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys like Connington, like Grayson Allen, guys who you can depend on hit threes.
Right.
So yeah, I think this team's perfect all around. I think actually the two teams who match up really well with them just because of their interior defense is the Cavs and the Heat in the playoffs. I think like it's funny, I said that the Bucks are definitely my favorite coming out of the East to make the finals, but as a Cavs fan, they're the matchup I'd want in the first two rounds just because the Cavs can neutralize Giannis as well as you can. Like they're not gonna stop Giannis, but they showed a couple weeks ago and when they played earlier this year that they can defend him. But in terms of the bigger picture of the whole NBA, it's gonna be very hard for anyone to beat the Bucks in the playoffs. So
you mentioned 3-point shooting. Guess who the 3-point champion of 2022 is?
Is it Middleton?
Oh, it is Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congrats, Karl Anthony Towns. That's huge out of a
first big man in 10 years. And I think he had
That's
the longest odds too.
Wow.
It's plus 4,000 or something.
And he calls himself the best best shooting big man ever, right? So
yeah.
Shout out to him.
There you go, backing it up, making your jump shots in the starter jacket. Word to Larry Bird. Back it up, and good job, Kat.
Did the dunk contest happen yet?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Those are always pretty cool.
Okay. I got the Bleacher Report for 5 minutes ago.
Crazy for the dunk contest for sure. As much as I did, say my opinions on Jalen Green as a basketball IQ type of guy right now, in terms of pure Hooper skill right now, it's gonna be a lot of fun to see what he does in the dunk contest.
Absolutely. We got a Go Bucks from Bonnie.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Cole Anthony just bagged a 40 dunk in Tim's.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I heard he was in a Knicks jersey, which obviously is weird, but okay. I'll update everyone on the good old slam dunk when we get there, but in the meantime, our boys, we can't believe it. Number 8, the Cleveland Cavaliers, 4th in the East. 2 All-Stars, arguably a third one because Mobley is the second coming of Jesus himself. They are coming in off a loss against the Hawks. We mentioned it with the Hawks section. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. But
I think it took incredible games out of Embiid and Trae Young, 2 of the best players in basketball last couple of games, so I'm not too worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team just Splash can confirm, I always had the hope that this team could get attention in the next few years. I was talking about it with him last year, and I was like, this team, in the next few years could very easily be in contention. We got the pieces. But sometimes when last year and, it started well and then everything just fell apart, sometimes even I didn't believe it at points, just because there were some tough moments there, especially, when the Kevin Porter Jr. situation goes down. Andre Drummond's hogging the ball. And just this year, I mean, seeing Darius Garland's development, seeing how well Mobley and Allen can control the paint, seeing Okoro's improvement as a wing defender. Marketing, I think, has been very underrated in terms of the way he spaces the floor. He's got very underrated driving ability too. His defense has been really underrated. Got guys like Lamar Stevens, Dean Wade, who have been excellent role players. Jetty Osman and Kevin Love having crazy resurgences. Karis LeVert trade, just everything's coming to place perfectly. And I love the Andre Drummond slander too. Everything's coming to place perfectly, and it's crazy because it's not just coming to place perfectly for one season. I feel like this is something that could last 5-10 years. I think it's just the beginning of the iceberg in terms of how great this team's going to be. I don't think I've had a more fun regular season watching my sports teams than this year. And I've seen LeBron James be a Cav. I've had Tom Brady as my team's quarterback since I was born, basically. I've seen some really fun Red Sox seasons, but this Cavs season's just been unbelievable, and it's more amazing than anything when you see like your team, you see these guys grow, and then they turn into this monster, like
Mhm.
just over an off season. And also shout out to Colin Sexton too, who's still my personal favorite player, and unfortunately has been out this year with injury, but he's still around the team a lot. I think he'll definitely be back with the Cavs at some point.
Yes,
And I
I
don't know
agree.
what's going to lead this year. I would love to see, like an Eastern Conference type of appearance, Eastern Conference Finals type of appearance. The Cavs clearly think they can do it with
Yeah.
The Karis LeVert trade. And I think LeVert is only going to. I mean, he has to improve from where he's at right now in his role, and I think he will. It's just always hard when you're first starting with a new team. So I'm just so excited, and this season's been awesome. Like there's nothing. It's been nothing short of awesome to watch.
So if you followed me for a while, you might know that I wrote basketball for a little bit. So I did write some Cavs articles. I found one from July 22nd, 2019. It's
Awesome.
called Cleveland Cavaliers Finding a Gold Bar in the Garbage Can. I lead with the Cavaliers will not be good in 2019, 2020. That is not news. It is simply a fact. With depression out of the way, the Cavaliers offer tremendous upside moving forward, just not in the upcoming season. The guard duo of Colin Sexton and Darius Garland looks exciting and explosive as both can score the ball and shoot the rock with excellence. Oh, man.
The other
Before the
thing,
All-Star break, Sexton had a serious argument of being the worst player in the history of the NBA.
yeah,
That was a
that's
weird time.
That's the crazy thing to me too is like someone shout out to Ethan from Twitter. He was asking me, he's like, did you believe in Darius Garland after the All-Star, when he was, before the All-Star break when people call him the worst player in the NBA in
Mhm.
2020 or 2019, 2020, his rookie year.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, because Colin Sexton did the exact same thing the year before, even worse. It's just,
Yep.
Darius Garland's like advanced stats looked worse, but Colin Sexton was worse than Darius Garland. And then Colin
He
Sexton
was
just had
so
like, what
bad.
was it? Yeah, he had like what 20 straight games with 20 points after the
Yeah,
All-Star
he
break.
was rolling. He was awesome.
Yeah. So
And
it's just
hey,
awesome.
I did say Garland has enough Garland has enough athletic talent and basketball potential for the Cavs to risk the 5th pick on the Vanderbilt prospect.
Yes. And I did not know much about like
He only
Sexton.
played 5 games at
Yeah,
Vandy.
Sexton was the guy I wanted in 2018. Mobley was the
Mhm.
guy I wanted in 2020. Okoro was like one of the main guys I wanted. I think I wanted him or Toppin and
Oof.
in 2021. Thank God or no, in 2020, sorry. Thank God we didn't get Toppin. But uh I didn't like I wasn't tapped in on Garland's. Like I'm like I wanted Reddish. I don't know if you remember. I was big on Reddish.
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, and when we drafted Garland, I started doing my research, and I was once I started seeing like his high school highlights and just
Mhm.
how
Yeah, he was great in high school.
just like how smooth he was with the basketball, I was definitely excited. But after the first half of his rookie season, even though I still had a lot of hope, I could not have ever seen 2 seasons later being all-star, top 10 at worst point guard. It's crazy to think where this team's come. I mean,
Yeah,
such an
exactly.
exciting team to watch too. The lobs, the defense, the 3-point shooting with, like we said before, Jetty Osman and
Mhm.
Kevin Love having crazy resurgences in their career. It's been amazing. I mean,
Definitely a league pass team. If you have league pass,
yes.
this is one of the teams you tune into. And the next few teams are
Shout
also
out
going to
to
be
League
league
Pass.
pass teams. Yeah,
Shout
shout out
out
to
to
league
League
pass.
Pass because I do not live anywhere near Cleveland. So
Same.
if I did not have League Pass, I would not have been able to watch every Cavs game this year, which has just been awesome. And also, yeah, I'm going to my first Cavs home game on Saturday, so I'm very excited for that. And it's like
Love it.
couldn't have, like I've been a Cavs fan since I was 9. I'm turning 21 on Thursday, and couldn't have picked a better time out of all those years to go to the games because I was thinking about this earlier when during the LeBron years it was a different type of fun. It
Mhm.
was like these games are casual type of games. Like
Right.
if we lose, it's not going to hurt anything. If we win, it's cool.
Whatever.
But with your teams, you always love to see like competitiveness, which is what a lot of the draw of like football is like it's 1 out of 16 games. Every game matters.
17.
Um, well, 17 now. My bad.
You're good.
But this Cavs team, every game feels important because we know where we've been the last few years. and just seeing this team grow every night. I mean, I'm someone who loves competitiveness in the game, so every night this team brings it. Even if they're not shooting well, even if anything else is not going right, they bring the effort. They never get blown out.
Yep.
If they're not blowing the other team out, it's always a competitive basketball game. So,
Yeah.
it's just
So
so
go
fun.
Cavs. Go
Go
Cavs.
Cavs.
Let's keep it rolling. Moving into number 7, the Philadelphia.
The MVP, Joel Embiid.
Yeah, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Ben Simmons now.
Yes.
76ers. Also James Harden list for the time being. He's too busy worrying about Philadelphia strip clubs to play.
Too busy hanging out with Meek Mill.
Yeah, although he can sit on the bench and get mollywopped by the Celtics. So he's done that twice.
Twice, yes,
Yeah.
with the Nets and the 76ers.
Consecutive games, yes?
Yes. What Embiid's done this year is nothing short of incredible. I mean, we already knew this guy was, one of the best, the best interior big man of our generation, I'd say. But
yes,
his improvement in shot making, I mean, he, obviously
37% from 3 this year.
I mean, his 3 ball is it's incredible. Great defender, very underrated playmaker. I mean, the guy can do everything. And
he leads the league in scoring right now, yes?
Yes, I think so. Unless James Harden comes in and ruins it, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Embiid's pretty clear of everyone else for the MVP right now.
Are you sure it's not Charlie Brown Jr. of the Sixers? Oh, man. Embiid pouring in 29.5. Harris.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Harris, 19 a game. Maxey, 17 a game. They no longer have Seth Curry, though.
Yes, and that was a very bad trade. Or not very bad trade, very bad loss for them. I felt like they could have kept, for both Curry and Harden.
Agree. Although I am excited to see Tobias Harris as a third option rather than a second option. I'm not even going to pretend to guess who the top option is going to be between Embiid and Harden. It doesn't matter. They're 1A, 1B. But Tobias as a third option, I think is very fun because he's a very good basketball player. He is just in over his head in the roles he's been in.
Really like Maxey and Thibault too. I mean, that team's perimeter defense is crazy.
Yeah.
We saw in that game against the Cavs last week that perimeter defense from that team is very scary. And the only thing I'd worry about with the Sixers team, and obviously this year's a new year, but I've said it repeatedly on the show. I am not a fan of Doc Rivers at all. I think he's a very not good basketball
player. Are you sure he's not a top 15 coach ever?
In music, there's a term, industry plant, for like guys who, they have a hit and you don't know how they stay around, but they do. And I've always felt like Doc Rivers has been that guy of the NBA where for some reason he's still here. We don't know why, but he always has talented basketball teams. And
somehow
him and James Harden James Harden's an amazing basketball player, but him and James Harden have been the 2 biggest chokers in the playoffs in terms of coaching and players of the last decade. I think there was a stat, James Harden's like 1 of 7 his last 8 elimination games, shooting like 35% from the field, 23% from something like that. And
that's bad.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Harden and Embiid's going to be terrifying, especially in like pick and roll type of situations. And, Harden ISOs, you already have to guard Harden the ISO, and then you got I was terrified. Harden ISOs and then having to worry about Embiid, very easily putting it back is just terrifying. But I don't know how far I see them going with, 2 guys who've proven time and time again that you can't trust them in the playoffs. I mean, it's kind of a I'll believe it when I see it type of thing,
That's fair. And we've had situations in the past, like even with the Bucks last year, they've choked every other year. We'll believe it when we see it. Hey, they're the ones lifting the Larry O'Brien trophy. So Sixers fans, that's not an indictment. That's just we need to be patient.
I am a massive Embiid fan. Like my 3 favorite players outside of the Cavs right now in basketball are probably Embiid, Halliburton, and DeJounte Murray. So it's not a shot at Embiid at all. It's a shot at Doc Rivers and James Harden and their performances in big playoff moments recently. And maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe they'll be the ones
maybe they will.
Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the year.
Maybe they will. And we will move on to the Utah Jazz, another team that we know just kind of stinks in the playoffs. But at least the Jazz have a reason, and his reason wears number 27. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, when you talk about the Jazz too, I mean, they've been not atrocious, but they've been a not good basketball team for 2 months now. They're living off of their, like, 22-5 or whatever start.
They started 20-7. They are, since
27,
then
okay.
they are 16-15, just treading
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, and,
Although they did
I
win
don't
6 out of 7 before the break.
they did? Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just I don't know, there's something weird about this team. I do think they'll lose in the first round. Mitchell's having an awesome season, but Gobert, I don't trust in the playoffs, especially I mean, especially if he's got Jokic in the first round and having to,
Just getting
guard a
cooked.
stretch five. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see, but
Hey, at least it's not Curry.
that's true. That's the worst nightmare for the Jazz is having to play the Warriors in the playoffs.
Agree.
But yeah, they got talent. They got Mike Conley, they got Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, awesome backcourt.
Cavs legend Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, but
Although I believe Joe Ingles is out for the season, so that's a
he's
bummer.
on the Joe Ingles is actually on the Trailblazers now.
Oh, that okay. He's essentially out for the season.
Well, he's got torn ACL too, but they traded him. But the Blazers are 4-0 since they got Joe Ingles, even though he hadn't stepped on the court.
Okay.
But
That'll work.
yeah,
Rudy
so
Gay is hurt right now for the Jazz. He's actually on the Jazz. I can verify that one. And Nikhil Alexander Walker, he's on the.
yes, I like
Yeah,
I
he's
like
on the
that
Jazz.
pickup actually a lot.
Yeah, good stuff, Jazz. We're great to see. You're probably going to win 50 games this year and lose in the first round or get dispatched very quickly in the second round. So, good job, Utah. Let's move on into the top 5. We're already there. It's only been 90 minutes. Feels like it's been a lot longer.
Yes, I believe Chicago Bulls next.
Yes.
I feel like this team crept up on people so quickly that they never appreciated it, and now they want to talk down on it. I mean, hasn't been the greatest team defensively, but the offense has just been fantastic, and they have my number 2 MVP candidate right now, DeMar DeRozan, who's just having a incredible year. I think some ESPN writer ranked it the worst move of the offseason, them getting DeRozan. So shout out to that guy being
shout out to shout out to that guy.
And him and Zach LaVine in the backcourt has just been so fun to watch. Vucevic, despite his not great defense, has been having an offensive monster season. From a big man. It's a lot. There's a lot to go around there. They did get Tristan Thompson.
So the Kardashian curse is en route. All right,
yes.
good to see.
I mean, this is a team who I think their floor. I mean, I think just like any other team in the East, basically, their floor is a first round loss. But if they went to the finals, if they won the finals, wouldn't be the most.
Yeah,
shocking.
I wouldn't be surprised. It would need Denard DeFrozen to pick it up a little bit in the playoffs. But
Definitely.
You have LaVine, you have Lonzo, you have Nicola, Kobe White's fun. I think yes, we have these narratives of perennial chokers, and yes, DeMar DeRozan fits everything there. I get it, but if you can figure it out, all it takes is 1 year.
Yeah.
It's like there
Lowry.
was, huh?
I mean, his buddy Kyle Lowry.
That's true. It's like Lowry was a choke artist for a long time, and he's an NBA champion now, so you don't question it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
probably more comparable because if DeMar did lead a championship run, we start having some like really interesting conversations. Let's just say that.
And it's like
not Dirk conversations, but he's a championship run away. With him as the main guy from
like really shooting up in like all-time rankings. And it's like Commander Alex mentioned on the app that like the Mahomes or the Burrow Stafford. It's like if Burrow wins this, then next 10 years no one's asking questions. But if he loses, it might creep in a few years.
Right? And I definitely, before the end of the show, actually did want to talk about the Super Bowl. But
yes, we will get to the Super Bowl. But it's going to throw off my cutting and splicing of this. So
that's true.
We'll hold off on the Super Bowl.
Talk about that later. Yeah.
So Bulls coming in at number 5.
Amazing offseason acquisitions with Lonzo and DeMar DeRozan, and taking the chance on Zach LaVine when a lot of people just looked at him as a dunk contest guy too. Lot to be proud of if I was for Bulls fans right now.
Amen to that. Amen to that. All right, we move into the top 4, the Mount Rushmore of teams right now.
Yes.
We begin with the final team in the East, the Miami Heat, 38-21, wins the finals in 2020. They are red hot. And they've won a lot of games without Bam, without Butler. It's
You
super
got to give
impressive.
Eric Spoelstra so much credit for this team.
As I nearly die. It's like, okay, this chair is not conducive to sitting in for an hour and a half.
Yeah. I actually was sitting in my other chair, which doesn't have like a nice back part to it before, and right before the show, I'm like, I gotta switch out of this. I cannot do this for more than like 20 minutes.
Amen to that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I said Tyronn Lue is my coach of the year right now, but Eric Spoelstra is like 1A, 1B with Lue, and I think Spoelstra probably will win it because his team's doing so well.
Right.
And our boy JB Bickerstaff's in that conversation too.
Yeah, he was, I believe, second in odds.
Yeah.
I think it was I think Monty was first, actually.
Really? Where's Spoelstra?
Then third or fourth. Okay. I was just focused on Bickerstaff. I was looking for MVP odds. I was going to say if someone was a favorite, I was going to post it on the U Stadium app. Make sure you download it, by the way. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
App. That was
ding that Le'Veon Bell. Or that Jordan Bell. Sorry.
That was where me and Splash met. Was that app? So shout out to U Stadium.
Like August 2015, around there.
August 2015, yep.
Yeah, because I joined July 20th, 2015. So
I joined right
7 years. 7 years in a couple months. So
it was right around that time. I was tweeting about the Patriots in whatever way 14-year-old me was tweeting about the Patriots.
Hey, they were the reigning champions.
Yeah, and U Stadium comments under my post, and rest was history. So
yeah, I was looking for people to play fantasy football in the middle of July, as one does. So yeah, make sure you follow. So first off, like the stream. You're here, like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at U Stadium. I will throw our personals, if you like, in the YouTube description. They are not right there. They're not there right now, but when this is uploaded, I will have it changed.
And shout out to all the viewers right now just for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. Drop a comment if you are interested. We are still running the take our points giveaway. If you make a take before now and tomorrow when the All-Star game begins, and you make a take, let's say 500 points, we will give you 500 points back after you make your take. So if you're interested, go make a take. We will reimburse your points. So, and then with that said, let's move to the number 3 team. We will round it out with. What's that?
I did want to say a couple more things about the Heat, but I just want to. Yeah, I just want to.
We're not going all the way back to the Magic. Sorry about that.
Definitely not. But I think Spoelstra's right there in terms of Coach of the Year odds, and also it's scary to think what this team can do with Jimmy and Bam. Now, I did have a conversation with my friend who's a Heat fan. If he's watching this right now, shout out to Rob. I feel like sometimes with certain teams, they have a lot of good players, and you feel like how much raising can 2 players, no matter how good they are, really do for a team. For example, the Celtics in 2017, 2018, they played amazing without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, but would they have won the championship with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie? Who knows? So it'll be very interesting to see what they do. I'm not going to say they're going to make the finals just because they're missing those 2 guys for a lot of the season, but it does offer a lot of hope with how well they've played without their 2 best players. So
for sure.
Shout out to the Heat. They're having an amazing year for how injured they've been, especially.
Shout out to the Heat. And let's stay on this topic of M's. We move to the Memphis Grizzlies. I have a question for you. You're a betting man, right?
Yep.
Okay. Heading into the season, the Memphis Grizzlies over-under was a number. How many games away do you think the Grizzlies are from hitting that number?
Okay, so they were a playoff team last year. I believe they were like a couple of games over 500.
I will tell you they were they won. This is a great time for my laptop to just totally not work.
Let's see. Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh my goodness.
20...
Okay, they were 38-34 last year, 4 games above 500.
So I'm going to guess they were projected to go 45.5 wins.
Okay. For the Grizzlies to hit the under, they would have to lose out.
Wow. So it's only
Yeah.
42? Wow.
41 and a
That's
half.
crazy. And
So
this team, like, I love our Cavs, and I think they're right there, but the Grizzlies are right there for the best story in basketball. What they've done with the depth of that team, how it's been put together. Ja Morant's amazing season.
Desmond Bane's been awesome. Dylan
Desmond Bane's been
Brooks,
crazy.
and Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, it's like that whole
Did you know that Jaren Jackson's like a rapper too?
yeah.
Yeah, Triple
I saw that.
J, right? Is it Triple
That's pretty
J?
funny.
Trip J? Something like that.
Yeah,
Shout out to Jaren Jackson Jr.
I'm trying to think. They got a bunch of players, but yeah, that whole team's just so well rounded, and yeah. So they're my finals pick out of the West right now.
Same.
I think a Grizzlies Bucks finals would be fantastic.
For everyone but the NBA.
Adam Silver might not love it, but if you consider yourself a basketball fan, you're going to enjoy that series. That's for sure.
Amen to that. And one team that's very familiar with the
Yes.
NBA finals, that is the Golden State Warriors, 42-17 this season. Curry hasn't been quite as good as he was the first 2 months, but you get Clay back. You have all-star Andrew Wiggins.
Yes, and a player who's gotten underrated because of how ridiculous the all-star starter thing was, but I still believe he was deserving of an all-star spot, like a lower-end all-star spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been like a top 20 West player. That's fine.
Yeah.
Is he like a slam dunk starter? No, but
he's not a slam dunk player, but yeah. I mean, you got Draymond coming back soon. I think they're kind of coasting right now, so a lot of people forget how dangerous they are, but nobody wants to go up against them in a 7-game series, that's for sure.
For sure.
Jordan Poole's outbreak this year has been really fun to watch. Glad to see that Klay Thompson's been able to stay healthy and have some, great games since he got back. And Draymond Green also got booed at the All-Star game or All-Star series.
There you go. Good work, Cleveland.
So bringing it back to the old rivalries, maybe we get a Cavs Warriors finals again this year. Who knows?
If we get it number 5.
I mean,
hey, at least Sean Livingston's not playing for the Warriors anymore.
Yes.
That is, would you rather, would you rather game on the line, you're up by 1. Would you rather Curry open 3, Livingston open 18-foot jump shot?
Definitely.
Not even, okay. What about Livingston contested jumper?
Still a Curry open 3.
Okay. What about Sean Livingston blindfolded contested jumper?
Still a Curry 3.
Okay. What about Sean Livingston with one hand over 3 people while blindfolded?
All right, maybe the Livingston with one hand.
Okay. But only one
was...
team. Yeah, that was just insane. If he made every single one of those. But speaking of one, there's one team left. It is the best team in the association.
Yes.
48-10.
Crazy.
The Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Monty Williams, potential coach of the year guy, DeAndre Ayton. Is it Mikal Bridges?
Mikal Bridges, yes.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges is on the Suns. I always confuse him with Miles.
Yeah, same.
So
they're related, right?
I hope so. That'd be pretty weird if they weren't. Oh man,
yeah, especially with how close their names are.
Yeah, it's like imagine if Markieff and Marcus Morris were just.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Actually, both of them played with the Suns at a point. So
they did.
Yeah. So we're not going to talk about the Morris twins.
No, we're not. But Cameron Payne's been awesome. Cam Johnson's been. I couldn't believe that Cam Johnson didn't make the 3-point contest. He's been awesome from 3 this year. Let me pull stats real quick.
Okay, sorry about that, Suns. My laptop died, so you no longer get access to this slide presentation I had.
He's let's see. He's shooting 43% from 3 this year, 11.9 points per game, and somehow did not make the 3-point contest. So
wow,
that was very disappointing. Cam Johnson has been awesome this year, easily deserved that.
Mm-hmm.
JaVale McGee's had a great resurgence this year, despite how angry he made us in that second Suns Cavs game. Cam Payne's been awesome as usual. So that's a very deep team. I mean, sometimes I feel like with my finals pick, I'm overthinking, and the Suns are just going to run through everyone.
Yeah, they did that last year.
Yes, they did until the So
the
they went up
Bucks.
2-0 in the finals.
Yeah, they did. They won 14 of their first 18 playoff games.
Yeah.
And then everything unraveled.
Yeah.
They only won. How many games do you think they won last year? Just guess.
They probably won like what, 52-20 in the regular season?
51-21.
Okay,
They're going to pass that next week.
So, okay, so they won 65 games last year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, including the playoffs, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, yeah, so that's an incredible team. They are well on their way to another Pacific Division championship because, as we know, divisions are the only thing that matters in basketball.
Yes.
I think there are like real NBA fans that probably don't know the divisions, and I don't even blame them.
No, because it doesn't matter. I think it's some tiebreakers sometimes it matters. Like if you're tied in like most of the tiebreakers or whatever, it matters. But nobody really cares.
I think, is it like if you're tied in like a bunch of them, then whoever is higher than in a division,
something
like that.
But
so it's really like there, but no one cares.
Yeah, exactly.
Southeast Division, dragging everything down. Well, I guess not this year because Heat are really good, but for a long time, Southeast Division is dragging everything down.
So I guess we should probably say our finals predictions now after going over every team.
Yes. Yeah, I think finals predictions would be great.
I'm saying the Milwaukee Bucks repeat as champions, beating the Grizzlies in 6 games.
All right.
And Giannis will be finals MVP.
Okay.
Sorry for the
I think that's a good one.
there, but
yeah. Ooh, I will have the Memphis Grizzlies beating the Philadelphia 76ers, John Morant MVP in Game 7.
I love it. And that Grizzlies story would be crazy. We want to pick our Cavs.
And the Sixers blow a 3-2 lead. Grizzlies win Game 6 and Game 7. Oh, shoot. The NBA doesn't do that anymore. It's now 2-3-2. Shoot. Okay. The Grizzlies, the Sixers, Game 6. I'm going to get close to the mic. Game 6. I'm going to actually make myself full screen for this. All right. I'm going to spoiler alert. If you do not want the rest of the season spoiled, do not watch this part of the podcast. Entering Game 6 of the 2022 NBA Finals, the Philadelphia 76ers, led by League MVP Joel Embiid, will have a 3-2 series lead at home, but Ja Morant will walk in to the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, drop his nuts on the entire state of Pennsylvania, drop 41 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, lead the Grizzlies to a win in Philly, come back home to Memphis, get the dub, have a 30-point triple-double in Game 7. Word to Draymond Green, word to LeBron James.
I love it.
And we'll win Finals MVP. Word to James Worthy too.
Yeah, that'd be a really fun Finals. That'd be really exciting. With how much I've said about Doc Rivers and James Harden in recent months, I don't know how much I'd like for them to get that close to the
screenshots. Just
but at the same time, it would be hilarious if Doc Rivers blew another lead. So.
Hey, we would get kind of famous if you had awful takes, right?
That is true. True.
We get any publicity is good publicity.
That's true. Not wrong.
Yeah. Actually, I guess if you said like something totally off the wall, like I don't know, the Bucks are going to go 0-17 with Brady or something like that, then you probably no one cares. But
yeah,
if you said, I don't know, maybe if you said like the Bucks would miss the playoffs, or this year if you said like the Kings would, well, I guess the Kings making the playoffs is a little out there, but I don't know. Like if you said,
still do it. I mean,
technically,
yeah,
they're not good, but I don't know. Like
if Alfreni Simons, had to miss some time or something, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully continues putting up 30
points.
Hopefully
Simons. It would be amazing if Simons beat the Lakers in that first play-in game. That would be something else.
All right, are you sure LeBron's not going to hit another 3 while seeing triple vision?
Seeing 3 hoops. That was one of the craziest LeBron quotes ever.
Just shoot the middle one.
That dude is insane.
Le GOAT. That's all I got to say. All right, before we wrap up.
He's been giving a lot of hints about himself going back to Cleveland at some point. As Cavs fans, as long as he doesn't want to trade any of the young talent away, that's our GOAT right there.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to have him back, but
Imagine a lineup that you have Garland, Okoro, LeBron, Mobley, Allen, Sexton coming off the bench, Love coming off the bench. That if we don't I don't want LeBron if we have to trade anything. If LeBron comes here by his own free will, or we trade like a second round pick or first round, cool, whatever, have at it. But I don't want to trade Garland, Mobley. I swear to every deity in any religion known to man, if we trade Evan Mobley, without something catastrophic happening to Evan Mobley, not going to happen because he is a transcendent defensive player.
Yes.
That would be a bad day. That would be a bad. That would be the worst day.
I think the Cavs' big three is established enough at this point where we can't worry. Like there's
that being Garland, Mobley, and Sexton. Allen. Okay.
Yeah. Sexton, we do have to worry about though. I really love how much he's been a part of the team. He was so involved with All-Star Weekend. The team all loves him. The way he's talking wants to come back this year, but I think they try to build a culture where players want to come. Players really love Cavs management. I think that starts with the guy who, carried this franchise when it was nothing, and that's Colin Sexton. So I think it's for the Cavs, not only for my selfish reasons, because I'm a huge Colin Sexton fan, but because of what it shows in an organization. I think they have to re-sign Colin Sexton. It would be probably the worst move of Kobe Altman's tender if he didn't re-sign Sexton. I think he will. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Absolutely. So, go Cavs. And staying in the state of Ohio, we have a Super Bowl to talk about.
Yes, we
Superb owl. I need a shirt that says Superb Owl. Rams 23, Bungles 20. The Rams get her done. Second Super Bowl in franchise history. First LA Super Bowl for the Rams, at least. The Raiders won one, but I obviously wanted the Rams to win. I thought the Bengals would win. I predicted the Bengals would win.
And it looked like the Bengals were going to win.
Yeah, it looked like it. And then ref ball. Just kidding. And then Cooper Kupp just dropped his nuts on the state of Ohio. Yeah. Outside of like northeastern Ohio. Yes. The rest of Ohio,
not the Cavs.
Yeah, because obviously Browns fans hate the Bengals.
Yeah.
It was so funny looking at maps that it was like every state outside of California, Pennsylvania, and Maryland pretty much was rooting for the Bengals.
The Bengals?
Yeah.
Because everyone loves Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrow's last three games, he was good against the Chiefs, but his Super Bowl and divisional round games were a little bit suspect. But yeah, he has moments.
He had 5 touchdowns in 4 games. I know touchdowns aren't everything, but it is a little weird. I do think so. Here's
Bengals defense was incredible in the playoffs.
Yes. Hendrickson was great. Bates turned back into All-Pro caliber Bates because he was a snub in 2020. Yeah. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, Awuzie. Eli Apple was halfway competent.
Yes. Eli Apple was better in the Super Bowl than Jalen Ramsey. Let's admit it.
Yes. And he still allowed the game-winning touchdown and was better than Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey almost allowed the game-winning touchdown, but was it Adeniji? I think it was Adeniji, the right guard, that allowed the pressure. It's like, if you just drafted Jackson, or if you had not drafted Jackson Carman, here's another hot take. I think this is a hot take. If the Bengals had drafted a traffic cone at 48, either 46 or 48, I forget the number. If they had drafted a traffic cone instead of Jackson Carman, they would have been better off. Why? Yeah. Jackson Carman didn't play in the bloody Super Bowl. You're telling me you spent a top 50 pick, a second round pick on a guard, you have a bottom 5 offensive line in the NFL, and you draft a guy in the top 50 and you still don't use him. Why are you starting it?
And
why are you starting a 2020 6th round pick?
When I was saying that stuff about Burrow earlier, it was not meant as Burrow slander. That offensive line is awful. And the fact that he was able to make it look competent at points was great. But
I wouldn't say the offensive line still.
Well, for most of the Super Bowl wasn't that glaring.
Yeah, I think for the first half it was the offensive line was fine. Second half, the Rams had 6 guys get to 3 pressures. Floyd, Gaines, Robinson, Donald, Miller, 7 guys. So
is Von Miller in conversation for best defensive player in Super Bowl history?
Yes.
Yeah, like his 2 Super Bowls have been
4.5 sacks.
Yeah, it's insane.
He's up there with. I'm trying to think of guys that had 2 awesome Super Bowls.
Yeah.
That's
One where they
really
won
hard.
Super Bowl MVP as a defensive player in 2015,
Yeah.
2016. That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. And he could have won it this year. He led the team or he had 6 pressures and 2 sacks. Oh my goodness. I mean, LC Greenwood has the sack record in a single Super Bowl. He had 4. Grady Jarrett had an awesome Super Bowl against you guys. He had 3 sacks. Nick Bosa was just unblockable against the Chiefs. DeMarcus Ware was very good in his lone Super Bowl. It's hard to get a guy that was awesome twice.
Yeah.
Jake Scott was pretty good in both Super Bowls. Then you have a bunch of like one-off guys, like Richard Dent was the Super Bowl MVP, Larry Brown, Dexter Jackson. Ray Lewis was good in both Super Bowls. He was MVP in 35. I think Vaughn's definitely like Mount Rushmore of defensive.
Yeah.
There's an argument. Von Miller has 2 busts on the Mount Rushmore of defensive players in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because it's
crazy.
Yeah.
And that game was, I mean, for my friend Aaron, who might be watching this, shout out to Aaron if he is. I was definitely rooting for the Rams in that game. And it was it was looking great early, and then Odell goes out. They don't have a number 2 receiver, and it came down to that last series. Defenses had kind of trade punches in the second half, and then came down to that last series, and it was just Stafford and Kupp and
Bryson Hopkins.
You can say what you want about the rest, but at the end of the day, those guys led them down the field.
Huge 4th and 1 conversion by Kupp on the little little end around.
Yeah, and I was shocked the Bengals didn't get a field goal on that last drive. So, but that Stafford's Super Bowl, Stafford's playoff run was incredible. I mean, if you look at this, like people want to point out the 2 interceptions. One of them was a punt, and the other one was a tipped pass. I don't think they were bad picks.
The one to Bates was bad, but context.
Yeah.
The tipped one was a tipped interception. It's not his fault. It was off Skronik's hands. And Skronik is up there with one of the I wanted to make this point earlier, but when I say a player is bad or I say a player like sucks or whatever, there is a sort of relativity here that you have to be really, really good to be bad at the NFL level. Like Skronik would be the best wide receiver in college football or one of the best wide receivers in college football. But he's obviously not a special NFL player, but he's a special football player because he's in that top percentage, right? I don't know what the exact percentage is, but he's in that top percentage. He's a worthy NFL player, but he had a rough Super Bowl, a rough playoff run as a whole.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like, when you talk about, players in sports and you're like, this guy sucks, or this
like even Kevin Pengos, our friend Kevin Pengos.
Like that guy. I mean, that guy's a great overseas player.
It would beat both of us 1-on-1. Would probably beat us 1-on-2. How many people do you think it would take for this is a question. Comment section, tune in or check in if you're there. How many average Joes would it take to beat LeBron in a 1-on-X?
10?
10.
I don't know. Like you get the average 5'10" guy who doesn't have too much basketball skill against LeBron. It's hard because LeBron's got so much length and stuff. Very interesting.
You can just deflect so many shots, and even
the guys can get some open shots.
Exactly.
The average person.
I wonder.
I'll say
how many guys do you think it would take to block Aaron Donald on a play?
Jesus.
Or tackle Lamar Jackson.
What I was gonna say before when you're bringing Kevin Pangos up is Jordan Richards on the Patriots, who I think is probably the worst NFL player.
Ravens legend. He has an NFL touchdown. He had an NFL touchdown before Jacoby Myers did. Yes, he had a touchdown. He had a fumble recovery against the Steelers
for the Ravens.
Yes, 28-10. I was there. I watched Jordan Richards score a touchdown. Do not slander Ravens legend Jordan Richards.
Well, I was gonna say he's probably the worst football player I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, if I go there and I play safety in the NFL, I'm not having more success there.
Oh man, you're getting burnt alive.
Yeah, exactly. It's all context, but yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna forgive that guy for the Eagles.
He was a second round pick.
He was supposed to be like a 7th round pick too. It was just Belichick's genius, you know. He was like, "We gotta pick this guy in the 2nd round."
Hold up, hold the phone. I didn't realize he was a second round pick.
Yes, he was a 2nd round pick.
Ravens legend, 2nd round pick. He has an NFL touchdown. He has more NFL touchdowns than a lot of players, actually. Yeah, he was tied for 4th in fumble return touchdowns in 2019. Bow down. Yeah. Like
who won the dunk contest?
I do not yet know. Like, look, Stephon Gilmore has 2 career touchdowns. Jordan Richards has 1. Is he that much better than Jordan Richards? And who won the dunk contest?
Yeah.
That is a great question.
Everyone's slandering it looks like.
Obi Toppin beat Juan Toscano Anderson.
It said someone said Obi Toppin had a great dunk, but overall it was really average.
Apparently,
worst dunk contest ever. Damn.
Wow.
Bill Simmons said, "Let's never talk about that dunk contest again. It never happened."
Oof, okay. Wow.
I mean, I'll see the dunks later and be the judge myself. But I feel like with dunks, like it's not like, watching a basketball game and, everyone's got a different perception of what a player did, if they're a good basketball player and stuff. Certain point with the dunk contest, it's either a good dunk or it's not a good dunk, So.
Okay. Did you watch any of the Pro Bowl Skills Challenge?
I did not. We were talking about this last week. I still never got a chance.
Okay. If I could find the clips of the dunks and not get demonetized and get nuked off of YouTube, I would be more than happy to do a live reaction to these dunks.
Would Myles Garrett have won the dunk contest this year? Did you see him in the Celebrity All-Star game?
Yes. Oh my!
He almost ended Machine Gun Kelly's life with that dunk.
He had a block that it's like
he had 7 blocks or something, right?
Jeez, he had one that. Okay, you know how there's a classic clip of MJ gliding through the air, and it looks like his hang time is 10 million years. Myles Garrett had a jump that he jumped, and then it looked like he jumped again in midair, and his okay, so my hand is gonna be super high, right?
Yeah.
Here's my elbow, right? His elbow was on the roof, not even hitting the ceiling, through the roof of this room, and this room.
Yeah, no, they've been saying if that dude had played basketball, he would have been a great basketball player. If that dude had played basketball, he would have been
it's whoa, echo.
Great basketball player. If that dude had played basketball. I'm gonna exit out of this. I did not mean to click that.
Oh dear. Okay, just unmute yourself when you're ready to go. But I think that's gonna wrap us up for tonight. Congratulations to the Skills Challenge winners, our Cavs.
I'm good now.
Okay, he's good now. So first off, congratulations to our Cavs.
Yes.
Mobley, Allen, Garland. They won the Skills Challenge. Shout out to Mobley for the big 40-footer that he drilled. 45-footer that he drilled. Second shout out goes to Karl Anthony Towns. Cat, I said once upon a time, I said he would retire as a top 10 player in the history of the NBA. Don't agree with that anymore, but that was a fun take from 7 years ago.
Yeah, top 50 maybe if he had some crazy run.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe if Anthony Edwards carries him to the promised land and he gets a Scottie Pippen role.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Anthony Edwards.
The new Kobe, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, exactly. So, Pau Gasol is a good basketball player. And then third, shout out to Obi Toppin, Dayton legend, Flyers legend. He won the dunk contest. Apparently, he was awful.
Yes, that's what they're saying.
So, yeah. With that said, anything else you want to touch on?
No. I mean, excited for a great second. Well, I guess technically second half of the basketball season, even though 2/3 of it's been played. Gonna have
almost 3/4 for most teams.
Yeah. It's going to be a very fun last quarter of the season. A lot to still be accomplished in both conferences. You got the 1 seed still being very much in question in the East, and 1 through 7, basically 1 through 8. I mean, if the Nets, had a crazy run, not being too far apart. So
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun shows coming up. Hopefully my mic does not echo again. And
that was weird.
yeah. Well, no. So I went into messages just to pull something up, and I didn't realize when you have the YouTube open,
Oh, it auto plays?
it auto plays. So it goes into it, and
I'm dying.
I didn't realize that I would need to mute myself.
Mhm.
So because I didn't realize it kept playing over and over,
Yep.
and I'm like, oh crap. So
No! Yeah, it happens to the best of us. It's
it
okay.
does.
So, yeah, that should wrap us up for episode 5 of the Full Court
Yeah.
Trap
Love
special
how this is going
Saturday
so far.
edition. Yeah, special Saturday edition. Got some comments, bunch of comments. Shout out Gonzalo and Lex
Shout out
and
Gonzalez,
Bonnie
shout
and
out
Wilson.
Bonnie.
Shed Sports, that's Noah.
Uh-huh.
Blake, big shout out, Blake.
Yes, Blake's
All
been a
right.
regular here.
Elizio Cortez from Facebook. He just sent an Acuna N.
Awesome.
So big shout
Appreciate
out
you.
there. So yeah,
And he's been hold up. Alicia was our first comment in 906, and he's here now. So that dude's been here for the whole stream. So shout out to him.
Yeah,
Especially.
big stuff there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you didn't enjoy, let us know what we can do better. I'm always open to constructive criticism. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, download the U Stadium app, follow U Stadium on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to follow us, I will add our Twitters and Instagrams to the description down below. If you're on YouTube, I don't know what to do for Facebook. Sorry about that. If you're on Facebook, add me.
Twitter.
Yeah, or Twitter.
I think a majority of our viewers come from Twitter, right?
Yeah, a lot of viewers come on Twitter. So follow us on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know either. I can't see comments on Twitter. Thanks, StreamYard. We used to when Periscope was a thing, but I don't know. Whatever.
We'll have to figure that out at some point, because I know that we've gotten some really good discussion from Twitter that we haven't seen. So we definitely
we could probably have a show just on Twitter comments.
Yeah.
So
make sure you pick those up or no? Is there a way to pick those up after the show or no?
Without rewatching, I have no idea.
Okay.
Like they're sitting through like 2 hours again. I don't think there's a way.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like,
all right.
I love us talking. I don't necessarily want to sit through 2 hours, although I will, because I'm going to be cutting. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you're the same way, and I don't know if people who are watching who do, YouTube or, any sort of, recording themselves talking can relate. But I can listen to, like if I'm going to sleep and stuff, like there's certain podcasts I like to listen to just because like they're like relaxing, whatever. Yeah. But a lot of people say they like listening to me like talk on this, but I cannot listen to my own voice.
like I'll listen to like fix things, or like if my audio is bad, then I'll change that. But like there's a time limit for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, yeah, no, like I can't listen to myself talk either. It's funny. So
yeah. Best of luck to me cutting up all those clips. Best of luck to Henry making all those thumbnails. So
and yeah, you have to cut up that point where I had that coughing fit earlier too. So.
Yeah. It happens, it happens. So.
I've been sick this week. That's actually why we had to push back to Saturday. So
and it happens that it's All-Star weekend. So we had a nice
yeah, so it went perfect.
Yeah, like same times. So any last things?
Nope. Appreciate all the love on this stuff. I mean, at this point, it just feels so natural.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think Splash has been asking me to do this for years, and it's just like went perfect. So it's been going perfect. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, now you're integrated with the workplace.
Yes.
So, except it's still your email, not your face or your name. So
yes.
One day it'll be your actual name.
One day we'll have my name in there. Yes. But, yeah. So appreciate everyone at USD and appreciate everyone who watched this. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Did we even outro? Because I know with
Go Cavs. It's just go Cavs.
That's the outro. Me forgetting the outro. All right.
Yes.
Well, everyone, have a nice night.